Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United versus Newcastle United from St James's Park, but I put United ahead of them because we're bigger than them. But sarcasm and arrogance aside, it is a game for Manchester United. It feels like a long time. It's been a long week with a lot of things going on, and a big week for Manchester United, and definitely a week that we need to get a result today. We're all waiting on the team news. The team news will be in 5 minutes' time, and I think it's massively symbolic. I think a lot of people have sort of picked up on this as well. I think it's massive as to whether he will pick, our man Anthony Martial. Last week he dropped Pogba and Martial and said that it was nothing to do with punishment, it was just formations and resting people and rotating it. There's zero reason not to drop Martial. There's zero reason to drop Martial or anybody else today. I think he's going to pick his best team, and if he doesn't pick his best team, then there is potentially an issue there. Anyway, I must also just very quickly allude to something that's really good as well. Let me get it working. God, I'm never quite prepared when it's a live show, but team news is not coming in for another 4 minutes, so we have got time to do this. Let me go like that and like that. I don't want that thing on screen. I want that thing. FOT Mobile is the link in the video description. This is an app that I've been using for the last little while, and we contacted them and said, look, do you want to do a bit of link up work with the United Stand? I think it's a really good app. I use it a lot. I used to use the One Football one, but I haven't been using that for a while because nothing wrong with it, but I prefer this one. The link is in the video description to download it. They've agreed that they'll do a few little things with us for the month of February, and I think if it goes well, we might be able to get shirts and stuff like that off them. So the link is in the video description for the FOT Mobile thing. Very good app. As you can see, it's got all the scores at the moment. I've actually got the Villa-Birmingham game on. It's boring 0-0 derby, and Twanseeby's not on the pitch, but that's by the by. As you can see, Huddersfield beating Bournemouth. That was quite interesting yesterday. Was that yesterday or today? I think it was today. But the main thing is you want to follow Manchester United, and the thing I prefer on this app that was okay on the other app that we used in the past, but I much prefer it on this one, is that obviously you get your games, you get your last few results, but the stats are really good and it's easy. 56 points, 17 wins, draws, losses. It tells you the losses home, 1, 3 away. You can get little audio news, but on the stats of the players, if you click the player like Lukaku there, the stats breakdown is far better. Loads and loads of stats there, like how many minutes he's played, goals inside the box, and as you can see with Lukaku, quite interestingly, all goals coming from inside the box, goals outside the box, goals via headers, passes, interceptions, errors that have led to goals won. I think Lukaku's been at fault for more than one goal. I can remember 2 in the Man City derby. But really good for stats. And as you can see, the Newcastle game is what we're going to focus on, and we will have the lineups in there as soon. But as you can see there, the coaches, injuries or unavailable for Newcastle, if you're any interest in them, Jesus, Gamaz and Joselu. But for United, no Herrera. I didn't even know that. I didn't realise Herrera was out. Daley Blind is out with an ankle injury. Eric Bain, Aaron Fellaini and Zlatan. So really good app. Free to download. Link in the video description. Get it downloaded, and yeah, really good. And we'll be going back to that when the team news comes in. But it's a really good app, and the best one I've found in quite a while. The app name is FOT Mob. FOTMOB. But the link's in the video description to just go and download it. Really good. Not at all Scorpion, not slating it at all. It's just I prefer this app in relation to the stats and everything that it offers you. There's lots of football apps out there, and I'm sure some of you use different ones and they're all very good. But I like this one, and it's the one I've been using for a few months, and I like it because of all the stats, and I like it because of the goals, and I like it because when a goal goes in, on the watch-along we'll be able to click in there and have a look at how that works out. So you can download it for free in the link in the video description, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. Andrew K is on about Herrera. I didn't realise Herrera was out injured. So, and Kevin Collins says he's been using that app for over a year. There you go. Very good. I want Mata, Pogba and Matic in a 3-man midfield, says Rohan. We're a minute away. Unknown Cow is unofficially saying that Anthony Martial is going to start. I have not got it officially yet, and I think a lot of people always wait for the United Stand to get it officially. But unconfirmed reports from Unknown Cow that Anthony Martial will start. I hope you're right, mate. I do hope you're right, but it's not confirmed until we have it confirmed, for my eyes. Pogba made his return, and today, please, 5-0. I'm bored of 4-0, says Pravin. I think today I'd be quite happy with any old result that's a win. You can never have too much football information, says George Kyle. And hi Matthew, hi, a lot of people talking to each other. I've always used this one, Mark, tried the last one, but I thought this was the best, says Carl Plasic. So a lot of people enjoying the FOTMob app, and you know what? We are a community, we are a brand, and we are something that we try out all together, and a lot of people obviously use that one like me. Team news is in. Oh, bum bum bum. Martial starts, yes, get in. And Alexis Sanchez starts, good. Well, we knew that would happen. So, I'll tell you what though, slight disappointment there. There is a slight disappointment there. I told you, Luke Shaw dropped. I think I've pretty much got the team right, haven't I? Oh no, he's dropped Rojo as well. Wow, I'm stunned by that. Really am quite surprised by that. I mean, I'm absolutely ecstatic. I've got to be honest with you. I'm absolutely ecstatic that Martial's starting, but very disappointed. Very disappointed for Luke Shaw and Marcus Rojo, who I thought were, very, very good. Very, very good. Certainly Rojo, I think, can feel very hard done by. Very hard done by indeed. But let's have a look. So we've got De Gea in goal, Valencia captain, Smalling, Jones, Young, Matic, Pogba, Alexis Sanchez, Lingard, Martial, Lukaku. So I got one wrong. Unfortunately. But the bench consists of Lindelof, Rojo, Shaw, Carrick, McTominay, Mata. Where's Rashford? Anyone send a message out for Marcus Rashford? The bench looks very, very poor. If we're not playing Champions League football midweek, we've got a week off. Jake Bullman got 11 out of 11. Well, I tell you what, Jake, very, very good. Well done to you, pal, because I would not have predicted that lineup. I thought Rojo would have been nailed on. Satvik says Rojo is world class and probably the best centre-back in our team. Jones is back, says Damien. Rashford isn't in the squad, probably injured, says SGS Review. You'd think so, because we haven't got any pace off the bench now. It's a very, very slow bench attacking-wise. McTominay, Carrick, Mata, no Rashford. Leg injury, says Purple Fangs. Yeah, I suspected Rojo might be injured. Rashford. JD Season says Lindelof should have started over Jones. No real impact sub on the bench, says Andrew K. Rashford is slightly injured, says Richard. Thanks for that, Richard. It would have made sense. Can't we even use the term dropped since we don't know what our regular lineup is, says Luca. I suppose it's a good point. But I've played football. We've watched football for many years, and if somebody played last week and they didn't play, then they're dropped as far as I'm concerned. So that's deserves his place, as always, Red. But for me, the biggest thing, of course, is that bye Quinton Smith. The big thing for me is that Martial starts. I mean, I wanted Shaw to start, I wanted Rojo to start, but ultimately my big concern is that that Martial started. Rojo is on the bench, so not injured. Luke Shaw is on the bench, so not injured. Shaw and Rojo dropped. I mean, look, Mourinho has to make his own mind up. Has to. Everyone knows I'm a big Mourinho fan, and maybe I'll be a little bit different if Martial wasn't starting. But actually, I was quite prepared for Martial not to start. He is starting, for anyone who's joined us a bit late. Martial is starting, but I had considered how I was going to react if he didn't start. And my reaction, I think, because I told myself it had to be this, was look, it's Mourinho's Manchester United side. He's got to make the decisions. Even though I and many others would disagree with him dropping Martial, he's got to make the decisions. He hasn't dropped Martial, so that's fantastic that he shares the vision of many fans. But what he has done, he's brought Ashley Young and Jones back into the team when they were dreadful. They cost us the points at Spurs. He brings Rojo and Shaw into the team against Huddersfield. We keep a clean sheet and they play well, especially Rojo. I think he was man of the match for some people. But then the next game he drops them for the Newcastle game. What I would say about Young and Shaw is that he just prefers experience over youth. He does, and he does this every time. Remember the last time we thought Luke Shaw might start a game and he said he's one of the best left backs in the world and dropped him the next day. What did he say yesterday? Luke Shaw's going to be here for years and years to come, and drops him the next day. So Luke Shaw should just always be worried whenever Mourinho says something positive about him. What I'd say about Phil Jones is what I've said before. He cost us a win at Chelsea with a big mistake. He cost us the win at Stoke with a big mistake. And he cost us the win at Spurs with a big mistake. So he's always, and I think he's done it elsewhere as well. So the thing about Newcastle is Mourinho obviously wants to play Jones and Shaw. They are obviously his players. And Villa have just scored in the Birmingham derby. Nice little goal as well. But Mourinho, you can't knock Mourinho because he wants to play Jones and Young. That is his team. We don't have to agree with it, but that is his team. And if it wasn't, you wouldn't bring Phil Jones back in the team because he's made too many mistakes. He obviously wants Phil Jones in the team, and he obviously wants Ashley Young as his left back. And you know, it's a bit like Fellaini, I suppose, for some people. For me, I don't like Fellaini anywhere near the team, and obviously he can't play at the moment because he's injured. That frustrates me. So I understand people's frustration about Rojo and Shaw. It's not enough to make me feel negative about that lineup. But I understand why some people are a bit frustrated by it. But clearly, he wants to play Jones and Young. They're his first choice players. Why is he still playing the 4-2-3-1? Don't know. Playing against Huddersfield proves nothing. Rojo cost us the draw with Burnley at home, says Iron7. See, different opinion. Martial should be on the left with Sanchez in the middle, says Cartilly99. I mean, I think Lingard's probably lucky to start over Mata. I mean, that's another conversation in itself. Lingard's been pretty poor, or, well, average, in his last 4 Premier League games. I would have played him today because I think Newcastle are a bit of they're a bottom half team, and Lingard might get some space to spin, which is good. Martial on the right, Sanchez on the left, says Abhishek. Sell Fellaini and the damn bus we keep parking. Okay, let's have a quick look, because there's a lot of people speculating about what the team news. Sorry, not what the team news is. What the lineup is. Let's have a look how they've put it on the Football Mob app. So they've got Newcastle lineup for anybody who doesn't know. Martin Daraka in goal, Yedin, Lascelles, Lejeune, Dummett, and then Diam and Shelvey, Richie, Perez, Kennedy, and Dwight Gale. Not a great side. Not a great side. And let me have a look. Manchester United, they've got Martial on the right, Lingard 10, Sanchez left, Lukaku, Pogba, Matic, Ashley Young, Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Valencia, De Gea. So that's interesting. Martial on the right, Sanchez on the left, and Lingard. I don't agree with that, but he's got to get himself in the team somehow, hasn't he? Download the FOT mobile app, link in the video description. Lots of interaction we'll have with that during the show. But I'm joined by Alex. How you doing, Alex? You alright?
Yeah, not bad. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Not been on for a while, but team news is in. I'm very happy with Anthony Martial starting. That's where it starts and ends for me. But a lot of people not happy with Rojo and Shaw being dropped again. What's your thoughts on the team news?
Yeah, I just quickly checked it before I came on, and I was happy to see Martial starting, but my only worry is exactly like what happened against Spurs, is that he'll be chucked out onto the right wing, which is such a waste for him when we know Sanchez has played there in the past and can play there, and I think his most prolific season for Barca, correct me if I'm wrong, was on that right wing as well. And the Shaw for Young thing, it is completely ridiculous, but I'm not too worked up about it because I completely expected it. We knew it would happen. I said the whole time when Shaw was, even when he was saying, Mourinho was saying, oh, he's one of the best left backs in the world or whatever, you just knew as soon as Young's suspension was over that he'd come straight back in. And with Rojo, he should be starting over Smalling, but once again, it doesn't surprise me that he's not. But Rojo used to be one of our first choice centre backs, so I don't know why Jose suddenly doesn't seem to rate him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Rojo played well last week. Some people are saying Jones should start. I mean, I've always my complimentary side of Jones is that he probably is the closest thing to a John Terry type defender in the Premier League, but he makes a lot of mistakes, and I can think of 9 points he's cost us this season. But I suppose in some ways, I mean, my one infatuation this lineup was that Martial started, and I was all prepared that if he didn't start, it was like that is a big concern. So the fact that he's starting is good. I suppose, interestingly, would he have started if Rashford had been fit is another question. We will never know. But Phil Jones, Rojo, Ashley Young for sure. I mean, I think one thing we can take for sure is that Jones and Young are his first choice.
Yeah, my problem was never with Jones. I think Jones has been one of our best defenders this season. My problem was with if Rojo was starting, he should be playing over Smalling. But the thing with Jones is that I don't think he's a very good left-sided centre-back. As you saw against Spurs, he'll always tend to go with his right foot, and that can be costly, as we saw. But yeah, it is frustrating, but Mourinho knows best at the end of the day. I hope that I know he's not really a centre mid, but sometimes Lingard has been dropping deeper, and I hope it is more of a 4-3-3 type formation rather than the 4-2-3-1, because I'm really, really tired of that formation. I really don't think it works and gets the best out of our players.
What do you think going forward? I mean, it's interesting that obviously Manchester City have got this title wrapped up, and I think they will add to what they've got in the summer. This team, from what you've seen, because we haven't spoke for a few weeks, Manchester United, I would say would deservedly nowhere near Man City. I don't like what Man City do in relation to they get an injury and they go and spend 60 million on a player, but if you can do that, why not? What do Manchester United need to do to close that gap? Because I think if the season starts again tomorrow, we're still going to be 15 points behind them by Christmas. There's a big gap to make up.
Yeah, I think the main difference is squad depth. Obviously, we have spent a lot of money as well, but the squad Pep inherited, it had already top-class players. It had Aguero, it had David Silva, it had Kevin De Bruyne as well. And Mourinho inherited only Martial as well. So 2 top-class players in De Gea and Martial. So, and obviously, De Gea's experience, but Martial is an experience, and they had ready-made experience and built on top of that. And you saw in the game, I think it was against us, where it's they take David Silva off and they bring Gundogan on, and it's we bring Pogba off the other day and we're playing McTominay. It's just the difference in squad depth is massive, and it will still take, I think, even next season we won't be ready to challenge, but I think the season after that, because we'd have built on the squad, we're starting to get the shape of Mourinho's squad, and if he can obviously hold it together in that third season and not fall out with everyone, then that'll be a big thing. But I thought it was interesting, he said, because all the papers have been linking us with your Griezmann, Dybala, etc., number 10s. And Mourinho said in his press conference he's not getting any more attackers, and he wants his primary signing is going to be a midfielder, which is happy news to me. I don't know about you, because I want us to play that 4-3-3. So if he is buying another midfielder, it makes me think that he's going to buy a top quality midfielder to play that 4-3-3.
It's interesting. That was going to be my next question. Which way do you think we should go? And I've always obsessed about the fact that we don't have a number 10. And if Mourinho's right about what he's saying there, you don't necessarily have to have a number 10. I think a good midfield 3 with Martial on one side, Sanchez on the other, and Lukaku up front would work. Watched Spurs yesterday. I mean, even we're not going to get Dembele because he's 31 in the summer, but I even think a player like that, I think what we need to have is Matic just sat there, and then Pogba and a Dembele sort of box to box, and that would, we'd get hold of midfields a lot better that way.
For sure. The thing that kills me is I truly reckon if we'd have got Kante over Chelsea, to have him in that 3, then we'd win the league, because that is what is the massive difference in my opinion. But I don't know, it does seem weird if he is going to go 4-3-3, because he has always preferred the 4-2-3-1. But like I said, I really don't think it gets the best out of our players, and it should be that with Sanchez one side and Martial on the other. But another thing I'm not too happy about, I think he's good, but if we want to be challenging for all the top honours, I think we need a better striker than Lukaku, because you need that type, that the RVN, RVP, ones that are guaranteed to get you at least 30 goals, which I don't foresee Lukaku doing. And the top class strikers in the league, your Agueros, your Harry Kanes and stuff, they're going to be scoring a lot more. And people do say, oh yeah, he starved the service or whatever, but it's if the fact that Martial and Lingard were catching up to him proves that it's not all about service, and your Agueros and Harry Kanes make their own chances even if they are starved of service, whereas Lukaku won't.
A lot of people saying like Josh Strain, what happened to Bay? Is he still alive? Bay's meant to be back for the Sevilla game, which for us, although the Champions League kicks off this week, midweek, we're in the second phase of fixtures, so we don't play until the week after this one. Our next game after today is Huddersfield on Friday tea time. So Bay could be back. I mean, a lot of people saying there, and get commenting in the live comments who you think the best centre-back partnership, but I've seen a lot of people saying our best centre-back partnership for balance, ability and defensive ability, which is most important of all, is Rojo and Bailly. But Rojo's not playing even when he's fit, so I don't think it's necessarily Mourinho's best centre-back pairing. What would be your best, Alex, and what do you think Mourinho's is? He did play Bailly and Jones at the start of the season a lot, didn't he?
Yeah, then that does work quite well, but my perfect partnership would be Bailly and Rojo, but with both of them in the same team, you're walking such a tightrope because both of them don't care who they clatter on the way through, because they're so, they'll put one on you and they just both walk in red cards, but I do love them both, how they play like that. But Mourinho's favourite, it does seem at the moment to be Smalling and Jones, and I really hope that's just because Bailly's injured, and as soon as Bailly's back, he'll be straight into that starting 11, because I don't want to go... you're not going to win the title with Smalling and Jones, I don't think. Even though, like I said, I think Jones has played well this season.
Yeah, I mean, I just think in relation to Phil Jones, I think we'll be all right today, because Newcastle, let's talk about Newcastle a bit. They're not a team that scores many goals, and I'm going to go 2-0 as my score prediction, but the big mistake I felt we made against Spurs is that Harry Kane bullied Phil Jones, and I think Rojo would not have been bullied by Harry Kane, but that game's been and gone. In relation to Newcastle today, Manchester United I don't think have ever lost. Well, we have lost here actually, so that's not right. We've not lost in a long time here. Mourinho's never won here. What's your thoughts on the sort of game today? Do you think we're going to win it? Do you think it's going to be tougher than people think?
I think it will be 2-0 like you said, but it will be tougher than people think. I think they're going to sit back like most teams do against us, and it's just going to be... If we get an early goal, then I reckon we'll completely dominate the game, but it's just the longer they hold out of that 0-0, it'll put more pressure on us. But I read something, or I heard obviously the stats, how Mourinho's never won there, and how we obviously have a really good record, beating 4-1 already this season. But I read as well that they haven't won at St James's Park since October, so that's another thing. They're obviously in bad form, and I think they're in the longest losing streak in something not in Newcastle's history, but in a very, very long time. So yeah, it should be a hard game, but as we know, everyone steps it up versus United, so you never know.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. The one thing I always say, and I think I said it before the Spurs game a couple of weeks ago, is I'm very confident we could beat Spurs. Obviously, we just signed Alexis Sanchez. Very, very confident we could. But I've said this about United for the last 4 years since Sir Alex Ferguson left. You just don't know. Even under Mourinho, you just don't know whether the players are going to turn up. And if the players don't turn up, then Newcastle have got a chance. They will be up. They will go up a level. They've got a big support. It's Manchester United in town, and with all due respect, teams don't raise themselves for Man City. They do not. But when United come to town, even Arsenal or Liverpool, they'll be up for it because they're big clubs, and that will allow people like Newcastle to raise it. But for me, the big thing with United, and it's one of those question marks about whether we can win a title under Mourinho, is that we still have an identity in our club that I think moves from the Moyes era to the Van Gaal era, and it still sort of is a bit of a legacy, is that some of our players do just sometimes switch off and not turn up.
Yeah, definitely. That lapses of concentration, to concede after 10 seconds against Spurs was unforgivable, really, because then it reminded me of, and I'm sure you said it as well, the game against Chelsea last season, how the entire game plan goes out the back of the window as soon as you go 1-0 down that quickly. It's like how we had the game plan against Liverpool to sit deep, and obviously we were waiting to try to hit them on the counter-attack. It didn't really work out like that. But if they'd have scored in the first 10 seconds, then we probably would have conceded a number of goals, because you just can't plan for that. But they should just be concentrating. And I think as well with Ashley Young, he was exposed in that game, but it didn't obviously lead to Shaw starting, because he'll say, because I want a more attacking fullback. And I can kind of see the logic in starting Young today, because obviously he's better at crossing than Shaw. And Mourinho obviously thinks he's better going forward, and they will sit deep. And I was... reading something that the main thing they've struggled against is putting crosses into the box. So obviously Ashley Young's a good crosser. If he can whip it into Lukaku, then I think we could have some luck there.
Yeah, definitely. Just in relation to Rashford, he has a slight leg injury, and so does Herrera, so that's why they miss out, for anybody who's not aware of that. But let's have a look at some of the comments and see what people are saying. I'm very aware that a lot of people are not happy with the team. Kev Beacon says that Souness says Pogba runs like a schoolboy. I ain't interested in Souness. He used to play for Liverpool. That's where the conversation ends. So, not interested in what Souness has got to say about Paul Pogba. Terrible lineup. We really need our strongest 11 to beat Newcastle, says David Logan. Everyone is going to want Bay straight back in the team, says the Kosovan Albanian, but you may need a little bit of time. Will Jones, shut up. The defence is worrying, says Alan.
What is it everyone's complaining about the team? I don't get it. Like, obviously, I would have preferred to have Rojo in the defence, but apart from that, like, the attack seems fine, the midfield seems fine. I'd probably have preferred to have a third midfielder in there, maybe like McTominay if Herrera's injured, rather than Lingard. But like I said, maybe Lingard will drop deep and occupy that. But aside from that, I don't get really what people's problem is. I think it is close to our strongest team.
Yeah, I mean, I can only go off what the live comments said, and obviously people are disappointed. What you got to remember is, Alex, you've not even been on for a while. There are quite a few United standers who are not convinced by Mourinho, and that was going to be my next question to you. I'm going to be totally honest and say, to me, the be-all and end-all today was whether Martial started, and the fact that he's starting has masked any other concerns I have about that team. I do agree that Shaw and Rojo should have started. I do agree that, look, Shaw's better than than Ashley Young as a left-back. That's obvious to anybody. And Phil Jones gives me nightmares. He makes mistakes. And I know a lot of people don't like Chris Smalling. I do. He doesn't make the big mistakes that Phil Jones does. So yeah, I agree Rojo and Shaw should start. But it's not. I'm not ranting. I'm not negative about it. Mourinho makes the choices. I don't like Fellaini. I've said it for years. I don't like it. I'm sure Mourinho would probably start him today if he was fit. And I would be saying, I don't agree with it. But Mourinho is the manager. And I'm just happy that Martial's starting. I can't, you can't have everything. Matthew McFadden says, and thanks for the contribution, Matthew. He says, in terms of individual players, I'm happy with the midfield and the attack, but it seems like we're using a 4-2-3-1, which obviously isn't our best system. Yeah, Alex, picking up on Mourinho, what's your thoughts on Mourinho as Manchester United manager? Are you totally happy with everything he does? Are there some things that frustrate you?
The handling of Martial sometimes does frustrate me, like how he was dropped after the Spurs game, which I know Pogba was as well. I guess he was trying to teach them a lesson because he thought that they had a bad game, but then I was kind of annoyed because Lukaku had a bad game as well and he never get punished, although he did get subbed off for I think the first time ever, which surprised me. But the main thing that annoys me is that he doesn't really seem to learn from his mistakes. Like with the 4-2-3-1, we've seen how many times that it doesn't work. And when we go against the top teams, they'll play a three-man midfield, and then they completely dominate us in midfield, and we don't get the ball. So we've seen that time and time again, and yet he still persists to use it. But that could also be down to personnel injuries, and if he doesn't rate Herrera. So we'll see next season if he is in that way inclined. But obviously, you'd have to point to the results against the best teams. But overall, I have seen a lot of people say Mourinho out and everything. I don't think we can complain. Like, I've seen some people even say, "Oh, we'd have been better off keeping Van Gaal." We're way better off points-wise, way better off goals scored, way less goals conceded. And so I don't really see what people are like moaning about. This is the best we've been since the Fergie days, and I think that this team is comfortably better player for player than that last Fergie team. But Fergie had the ability to make average players look really good, which not many managers do. So it is a hard one. I am happy with him. Obviously, I don't want him gone, and I think it is ridiculous that people do want him gone. But we have to get second place, and I think I would really hope we get the FA Cup as well, and we'll see how we do in the Champions League, because our away form against big sides is what does worry me with Mourinho, which has never been a trait with him before, but with this United team, maybe it's because our defence isn't good enough, that we do seem to concede some goals against the other team. So when we go away to Sevilla, I know they're not like that free-flowing goal scoring, but I hope that we do actually maybe even try to attack them, because obviously they're not a top quality team, but we want to progress in the Champions League, which is where our ultimate ambition should be, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm not. Obviously, I'm a big Mourinho fan. I always say, look, nobody's ever going to please you 100%, and I think he does frustrate people. But I think Mourinho in himself is he's never managed a club like Manchester United. He's never managed a club where the identity of the club has become such an issue. I think the one closest club was Real Madrid, but the Real Madrid, you can go on holiday for half the year and leave it in charge of the tea lady, and you're still going to finish second. So this is Manchester United in the most competitive league in the world, apart from the fact that Man City are finding it very easy. I think the challenge that he faces with Man City is very difficult. You've got a manager there who's got an identity. I've got to give Guardiola credit there. At least they've got an identity. They know how they're going to play. But he's also got massive amounts of money. He inherited very good players, and the pressure's not the same as it is as United because we're a massive club. But the big thing for me is, who would you replace Mourinho with? And people say, oh, Pochettino, Simeone, and others. And I just think, nah, come on, look at the calibre, look at the progress that he's done. Yeah, we're not where we want to be, and we might never end up where we want to be. I accept that. But at the moment, the journey is still progressing and we are still making progress. However, I do totally agree that we are in that situation where we do still make mistakes and he still does things that rile fans. I mean, we've seen it before. He seems to... He can't be stupid to the fact that the fans don't like Fellaini, but he publicly begs him to sign a new contract. And then a couple of days later, he knows the fans love Martial, and he drops him. So he's a clever man, Mourinho, and I don't know. His stubbornness sort of causes an issue with United fans, doesn't it? Because there's obviously always going on about them being quiet as well.
The Fellaini thing annoyed me, what he said about... did you see the comments where he's like, oh, I said to Marwan, oh, just sign the contract. You don't know how bad this knee injury is.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So basically you're saying that, it could be a career-ending injury, but I still want you to sign anyway. Why would you say that to... And it's like, Fellaini's holding Manchester United to ransom, and Mourinho's like basically begging him to stay. And we haven't had Fellaini basically all season, and we're second in the league, so... I don't get why he's so desperate for him to come back.
I know. I did just go woof because I've got the Birmingham derby on before this game as well, and Villa have just gone 2-up with a rocket. Rocket for Villa and game over. I don't know who scored it. I don't really watch a lot of Championship football, but it was a lovely little goal. We'd have one of them today. You what?
Is Twanzebe playing?
No, not even come on. So he's 3 games in, not being played. I'd bring him home. I'd bring him back. I don't see the point.
Because I have some mates at work that support Villa, and they're actually at the game right now. And they said he came on and he did look quite good, but he was playing at right back, which surprised me. But I guess we weren't going to see him at centre back if they have Chester and John Terry there.
He's good enough to walk into that Villa team, but I think he's Premier League standard, Twanzebe. So if he's not going to even play in the Championship, we need to pull him back and get him involved in the side. But yeah, begging Fellaini to stay and telling him to sign a contract when he's injured, very odd. How does that help Manchester United? But yeah, Mourinho makes stubborn decisions, but I still think he's definitely the right man for Manchester United. Richard O'Sullivan's obviously watching it as well. Villa did just score a belter. We are about 25 minutes away from kick-off. It's a 2:15 kick-off. Both me and Alex going for a 2-0. What have you got on the back of your shirt at the moment, Alex? Says Bradley Davidson.
Pogba.
He's done all right this year.
That would explain the dip in form recently.
Yeah, so Alex has been on the United stand pretty much from the early days, and there was a running joke that every name he got on the back of his shirt was the kiss of death. Falcao, Di Maria, who else? There was about
Kagawa, Tom Cleverley. Who else?
Rooney
I do have some ones that didn't. Like I have Martial, but I got Martial on last season's kit, and then I had it number 9, and then he changed number like 2 weeks later. I was so annoyed.
And he was crap last year as well.
Yeah.
True. So Pogba beware. That is the kiss of death. Zach Tallel says. Sorry, go on.
Say something quickly. What I meant to say earlier about when you were saying about how people want like certain managers. I found this with Chelsea, and then obviously if you're saying it's happening with Man United fans as well. Of when they had Mourinho and then their fans are calling for Simeone. Do they not watch any of Atletico Madrid or how they play? If they want to change philosophy and then get Simeone in, who's even more defensive.
Yeah. That's my theory always with Simeone. I don't know why we think we can pluck somebody who actually hasn't done that much at Atletico Madrid for the last couple of years, but very defensive. When they were good, they were a defensive side.
And as my favourite ever player, I'd never want Simeone anyway.
Who, Griezmann?
No, I said as Beckham's my favourite player, I'd never want Simeone anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, you liked Griezmann as well. What's your thoughts on the Griezmann situation?
I was disappointed not to get him because that looked for sure that we would get him, and I truly believe, I know rivals would be like, oh no, yeah, he rejected you. If Atletico didn't have that ban, we 100% would have got him, but now obviously it looks like Barcelona are getting him, and we have Alexis Sanchez now, so to be honest, we don't really need him, and like I said, I don't want us to play 4-2-3-1 anyway. If we are going to insist on playing 4-2-3-1, then obviously I'd want Griezmann or Dybala, but I hope we don't, but I see it. I don't know if you've ever seen him play. I see a lot of people talking about this Savic at Lazio, who's meant to be really good, but then other people say he's too similar to Pogba and it wouldn't work.
No, I disagree with that. I think if you've got two Pogbas in the team, they can work together very well, because it's not like, you're not playing two number 9s the same. You can have two midfielders, one right-sided, one left-sided. It would work very, very well. So I do like him. I mean, there's always that concern bringing a player in from the foreign leagues. I think that's a concern, but he does look very, very good, and United need to strengthen in the midfield.
I just want someone that's like, I know there isn't really that many players around like him, but someone like Carrick in his prime.
Yeah.
Just like someone that can just like dictate the play and just control it, hold on to it and stuff like that. And he's just such a massive miss. He's been like criminally like one of, if not the most underrated player in Premier League history. Is the amount of people that don't rate him when he was so good. And Scholes even said he was his favourite partner over Roy Keane. So if that doesn't tell you what you need to know, then...
Yeah, exactly. There are a couple, and again, there's the Jorginho lad from Napoli. He's very good, very similar to sort of Carrick. The lad at Dortmund, who I always get his name wrong, Weigl, I think. Again, very similar, but Carrick is very, very hard to replace. And even when he played that game against Yeovil the other week, you just see, he's 10 times better than Matic in his prime, and I do wish we could have him back in his prime, because it'd be perfect.
What do you make of Matic? Because I saw some people the other day saying about like comparing him to Carrick, and I'm like, never insult Carrick by comparing him to Matic. He's nowhere near as good as Carrick was, and I've seen so many United fans like saying about that, how amazing Matic has been this season and all that. And I said it when we signed him, and I've said it time and time again since then, that he'll get completely bossed against any decent team we play, and against every top team we've played, he's got completely dominated by any midfield that has legs, and I really don't rate him as highly as some United fans do, saying he's been like one of our players of the season. He was quite good at the start, and I know he is apparently carrying an injury, but I think if we want to be winning like the Champions League and stuff, then we need someone better than him.
I mean, I've got to be honest, and it's all out there on videos, so I can't hide from it. I didn't want Matic, and I think the day then that we really were pretty sure we were going to sign him, unfortunately, I'd been in the pub all Sunday lunchtime and sort of did a video on the drive home and was going mad about it. And then he had a really good start to the season, and I said, look, maybe I was wrong, but I judged it on his form at Chelsea last year, which was terrible. But he seemed to be, at the start of the season, playing the way he did the season they won it with Mourinho, which was the old Matic. I think over the last 3 or 4 months, he's gone back to the Matic of last year, which is just not very, I wouldn't say bad, but not the player that signed at the start, and certainly the player I didn't want to sign. I wanted Fabinho. The thing with... I think we might be back live again now. Let us know. Let us know. Now we're back again. That's good. Let me get Alex back. Hello, Alex.
Hi.
It was me.
Sorry
Was.
about that.
Very rarely me, but that was me. Um,
Uh,
yeah, you were mid-sentence about something, if you can remember.
Yeah, just about Matic. But my friend supports Chelsea, and he said that he's never been the same player since I think it was Ashley Barnes or something snapped him in some game. Like he was like arguably the best defensive mid in the world up until that point, and then he just went downhill. And he says he does show glimpses, like the odd game, that makes you believe he's back to the old him. But then he'll just then go like on a bad run again. And the thing that annoys me is that he gives the ball away like quite a lot. And I know people say about Sanchez giving the ball away, but Sanchez gives it away trying to create things, whereas Matic gives it away like with simple passes that it's just like needless possession. And when you're in that position, because we've been so used to Michael Carrick over the years in that position, that it is really noticeable when you have a midfielder that constantly gives it away there.
Yeah, I think that's one thing about Matic as well, is it's regardless of how well he's playing, the ability to switch the play like an at Michael Carrick. I mean, I think it was it Spurs in the cup last year for Chelsea, scored an absolute bullet. We've not seen Matic in an offensive way really at all in his time at United. He doesn't get forward often, and he is a player that I even remember at Chelsea who can get the ball and dribble, but we don't see any of that at United. We don't see that. So regardless of how good he plays, we're not seeing anything offensively from him at all, which must be to do with his instruction, because I remember Herrera last year, and he seems this season to have lost the ability to pass forward as well.
Yeah, with Matic, he actually started out as an attacking midfielder, and I don't know if it was when Benfica bought him back off Chelsea or if it was Mourinho or someone converted him to a holding midfielder. But with Herrera, that's just, I don't know what the hell's happened there, because he's just gone completely backwards. I don't think, like, once again, if we want to win the Premier League or Champions League, that Herrera should be starting for us anyway, but he is a good squad player to have. But last season, he was either the fans or the players' player of the season, and then this season he's just gone backwards. He has started, like recently when he's been playing, he's got better, but at the start of the season he was useless, and I don't get why.
D says Matic was a bargain. I'm not sure he was a bargain. He was 40 million quid, and he's touching 30. So look, I don't think he's been bad. I still would say even now, like I said last summer, I would have much preferred Fabinho. But I think, look, one thing I would say, Alex, I don't know what you think, and I don't know what people at home think. And remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I know we get new people watching on the Watchalong. Bottom right hand corner is the icon. Click and subscribe and get involved. You won't regret it. Fantastic community. We'll have fan cams, we'll have the call in after the game, and we've got Sunday Night Live tonight at 8 o'clock. So loads to get involved with. And Skype show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as well. But in relation to the United way at the moment, do you think that... like, you look at the Ashley Young situation, Luke Shaw, you look at 29-year-olds like Matic and Sanchez that have been signed. I said the day that he signed that he's not great with youth, and he'll always pick experience over youth. He's always done that, and we've seen it again today. He's got a choice between Shaw and Young. He's gone with Young. He always seems to go with experience throughout his career.
Yeah, he has done. I think he's been better at United. He has, although I don't know whether that's just because he's like picking players like in games like that Huddersfield game that tend to be like a gimme anyway that we'd win. But yeah, he does. He's always done that throughout his career, like you said. So it isn't really surprising. I think Sanchez was obviously a brilliant signing, and we did need a bit of experience up in that attack because they are all like kids basically. If you class like 24 still as a kid, but you know what I mean. And yeah, but if you look at, he has brought some youngsters in, like Bailly was only like 21, 22 something when he signed him. Lindelof as well was like 22. But then, yeah, obviously it has been mixed in with the 30-odd-year-olds, and he does always revert back to that. Like, if you look at actually, yeah, perfect example, this current defence right now, we're how many years now since Fergie? Like 5 years after this season, and our back 5, if you include the keeper, are all players that Fergie signed. So that should kind of be a worrying sign. We spent like 40 million on Lindelof, and I don't think Lindelof will play now for the rest of the season. But I thought he had, like, obviously he got off to a shaky start, but towards like in his more recent games, I think he's been good, and he's never going to get better if we don't give him a chance. Which once again, it goes back to that youth, and he's trusting the experience of Smalling and Jones. Who Smalling, I think, is like 28 or something, isn't he? And then Jones is only like 25. He's been playing for ages.
Yeah, we've got a couple of contributions from Alexi Nicola. Thank you, Alexi. He says, Matic, 0.5 key passes per game, 86% pass completion, 60% tackle success. Milankovic, 1.5, 82%, but far more forward-thinking passes, 67% tackle rate, says a lot. Well, both Serbian, I think, as well. So maybe Matic could be a bit of an agent Pogba in bringing him to us. But
and as well, can I just say quickly as well, with Matic, I think if we were to play that midfield free, and like what you said about him sitting, I think it would improve Matic as well, and he'd be play better because he hasn't got the legs to play in the midfield too, and Pogba doesn't have the discipline to play in the midfield too. So I think it would benefit both of them to have a third person in there, a top quality third person.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely do. And it will... look, Matic will have a very good pass success rate, though, because he does pass sideways a lot, which is what a lot of people have just said there. So they're spot on. That is true. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes on the video, says Cranium1210. Yeah, we do have that little bit of a superstition. Get 1,000 likes before kickoff and should help us win it. Well, Alex, great to have you back on. Lots and lots of people saying that, so it'd be great to get you on again soon. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, hopefully if we have another earlier kickoff, I can get on and speak to you all.
Okay. Cheers, pal. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, bye.
Speak to you soon. Yes, so let's interact with the live comments a little bit as well. Bilic in, Jose out, says Sir Wayne Rooney. Zaha was in our youth, says Boy. Yeah, I don't know why people are mentioning Zaha so much. Live chat is frozen, sorry. It's probably because we had the crash. He says... Don't know why it's frozen. Let's have a look. It shouldn't be frozen. It might be a connection issue, so let's have a look. Problems when you're live. Problems when you're live. Let's have a look at question. Jones is a risk, says Pankaj. Yes, he is. You're right. He definitely is. Let me get this sorted first. Here we go. Just needed to disconnect it and get it going again. Okay. I'm at the game today, Mark, says Zed Jamie. Hoping to catch Flex for a fan cam. Let's go United. Yeah, he will be there after the game, so go and keep an eye on him on Twitter and all that jazz. Remember to download in the link in the video description the FOT Mobile app, which is really good for your football. I'm going to have a quick look at that in a bit. The chat isn't frozen now because I fixed it. We've got that working. Okay, let's see if we can get this up. Oh, that's what she said. Let's see if we can. Let's see. You don't want to see that. What we want to see is that and that. That. Listen. Okay, so FOT Mobile, link in the video description for that. Obviously, I'm going to go to Newcastle versus United, but it's got all your Manchester United news for you there. We've won 4 out of the last 5, as many people know. We've got 56 points with quite an even spread. Not bad. We've won 7 away and 10 at home. There was a player I wanted to have a quick look at, Alexis Sanchez. That was it. Because stats-wise, we're not too sure about Sanchez, are we? Because he's not been at our club for that long. But in the Premier League so far this season, goals inside the box, 8. Goals outside the box, none, which is interesting. He is key passers, 54. Goals scored on a penalty, we know all that. Goals via his left foot, 1. Goals via his right foot, 6, because he is more right-footed. Yes, I did want to have a quick look at that, to be honest. Let me come back out of there because I want to go to the Newcastle game. So you can get your lineups there, which is what we've already been through. That's the Newcastle lineup for you. But more importantly, this is how we think United are going to line up. We think it's going to be Martial on the right. We are, 14 minutes away from kickoff. Lingard at 10, Sanchez. I would hope there's going to be some interaction and changeability, fluidity, flexibility, however you want to call it, between those three. Because I don't like Martial on the right. I think that is something that he doesn't deserve to have happened to him at all. On the bench, Romero, Lindelof, Rojo, Shaw, Mata, Carrick and McTominay. I think that's something to bear in mind. Where's the pace from the bench? Rashford obviously injured, but beyond that, Mourinho says, I'm not buying any attackers. Where's the pace on our bench? Because really, Rashford's it, and he's not fit. So where's the pace off our bench? I'm not buying attackers. Where's the pace then, Jose? Where's the flair on our bench? Because you can't just have one player. There should be 2 players on there that give you a bit of flair. And we're not. We're very weak. I don't know why he's saying we're sorted up front, because I really don't believe him about that. And I don't think I think it's just paper talk. I think he's trying to put the papers off the press, off the thoughts on it. You can get your latest Manchester United news on there. Pogba starts, but no Rashford for Manchester United. Starting 11. And Manchester United boss Jose Mourinho claims he's the Premier League's best behaved manager. And young players need belief. Janusai slams Van Gaal's man management. I might have to read that myself later. Anyway, the link's in the video description. I was going off like I was on my own there, not forgetting we're actually doing a live show. But the link's in the video description for that. Download it, FOT Mobile, loads of stuff on there, and we will be looking at it throughout the game. We've got a little link up with them, which I think is going to be really good for the community. So do download it and support that app and the United stand. Pogba's injured. Pogba injury. Okay, so Pogba's injured. Okay. Brilliant news. What the bloody hell's gone on there then? Just brilliant. I'm obviously being ironic. Pogba injured. Is that new? Is that really new? No, he's not injured. Some people are saying he's been injured in the warm-up. Let me have a quick look. Injured in the warm-up. Damn, it looks like it is true. That's not good for us. So, does he play McTominay? Does he play McTominay? Oh, God. I mean, it's not the end of the world. But what I'm more thinking about is, obviously, losing Pogba for a game like this isn't great. But I'm more thinking about the rest of our season, because what sort of injury is it? And oh no, I don't think it is true. He's pulled up. He's pulled up after taking a shot in the warm-up, effectively, and signalled to go back to the dressing room. We'll keep an eye on that. It doesn't necessarily mean he's out. It doesn't mean he's out. There's a few people saying he's fine. There's a few people saying he should be fine to play the game. Mark Hinak says he's doing running drills, so he might not be. But it's look, let's keep an eye on it. Let's keep an eye on it. A lot of this is from Sky Sports, because a lot of people are watching it on Sky Sports. So keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it with Pogba. Pulled up, taking a shot, signalled to go back to the dressing room, but not definitely out of the game. But may have picked something up in the thing. Levon says they're in the stadium, and Josh says he's fine. There's nothing on any sites. Well, it's breaking news at the moment in relation to Pogba, so let's just keep an eye on it. If he doesn't play, then it would surely be McTominay, because you can't really play Carrick and Matic. But the bench has got nothing in the way of midfielders because Fellaini's injured, Herrera's injured. It would be McTominay. Or it would be Zed Jamie, who's at the game as well, says Pogba's gone down the tunnel. Doesn't look good. He's pulled up in the warm-up. Let's just wait and see what happens with Paul Pogba then. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner with the icon, and get involved with the channel. We've got lots of things going on today. Fan cams after the game. The call-in, don't forget the call-in after the game. We'll be live all the way through till full-time, but we have got the call-in at full-time for people to call in and have their say. You might want to talk about Rojo and Shaw being dropped. Jones might have the best game he's ever had, and you might not want to talk about that. So all that stuff. I think Mourinho will play McTominay, Herrera and Matic, says Anthony MK. He can't play Herrera because he's injured already. He's not even on the bench. We need to get another midfielder in the summer, says Andrew Southwick. And Lindelof needs to play, says Samatar. Lingard can play right, Sanchez middle, Martial left. And Pogba toilet break, says Edwin. So there's a lot of conflicting news around old Pogba at the moment. And there's not a lot, to be honest with you. There's not a lot about it at the moment. I'm not convinced he is. I'm not convinced he is. I'm not convinced that he is actually injured because there's not a lot out there. Why always Lingard? Why? Where is Carrick? He went to the toilet, says Reece Bandy. We are so thin in midfield. And Pogba will play, says Koshik. The funny thing is, if he is injured, Alex's return would yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? Alex and names on the back of his shirt is never a good thing. We've not had him on the show for months. He's got Pogba on the back of his shirt and Pogba pulls up in the warm-up. So that could be Alex's first appearance in a while and last, if it's true. But MD Khalid says he's okay. And De Gea forever for Man United, says Babu. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know where you're watching from. Important part of the show. Let us know where you're watching from and what time it is. Pogba is playing, it's just announced, says Lewis McMahon. Score prediction 2-0. Score prediction 2-0. That's mine. Okay, so we've got people watching from Northern Ireland, LA, who's where Tito the Foot is, Dublin for Kieran Byrne, Trinidad, Dubai, Surrey for Curry Me Buddy, London for Nabil Sharaz, Barcelona and it's 3:10, says Nicholas Myers, Toronto, Germany, Australia, Ireland, Pogba is playing, good, road to 200k, come on, says United for Life, Phoenix, McTominay, in for Lingard, that's not going to happen. Benidorm and it's 3:10 here. India, says Aditya. Kenya, Manchester of course, says Ed Woodward. Guernsey, Thailand, Mauritius, Argentina and it's 11 AM, says Sankardeep. And LA, we've also got Norway for Owen Holmes. And Nigeria, Gamer Blamer is in India. Paris, Singapore, China, Maine, Bristol, Belgium, Bedford, Brazil. Run of the bees there. Kenya, Harborne, Birmingham, says Ali Butt. I know it well. Lovely little high straight, Harborne. Not been down there for a long time, but I used to drink down there. Nice place. Holland, Denmark, Pakistan, Australia, Austria. Haram is in Austria. Ireland for Linda O'Halloran. Wales, High Wycombe for Chris Hennessy, and Sweden, Mauritius. Okay, we're only 5 minutes away from kickoff, so there's something I want to do here. Because the United Stand is a big community. We've got 3,300 people watching here, and as people will know, there is a situation whereby Liam Miller passed away at 36 years of age on Friday night. Well, it came to our attention on Friday night that Liam Miller died on Friday night. So I'm just going to switch everything off for a minute. I'm sure that there'll be something going on at the ground. I know that the players are going to be wearing the armbands for him, the black armbands. But as a little United Stand thing, when we lose one of our own, then obviously we don't forget. So 36 is obviously no age for anybody, and as a former player of Manchester United, I am just going to switch it all off for 1 minute, and we can pay our respects to Liam and remember him as a Manchester United player. Gone but not forgotten, and never will be by Manchester United fans, Celtic fans, and I think Sunderland amongst these other clubs as well. But very sad, no age, and thanks for everybody for doing that. I never doubted that you wouldn't, and I think we have so many people watching this channel now that we do have responsibility to do those sort of things and remember, because very, very sad. Football goes on, life goes on. Paul Pogba will play for Manchester United, obviously not injured, will play. And yeah, we are very, very, very close to the kickoff. So I need to get a couple of things sorted out here. Need to get the timer ready. I'm never ready on time. But we're very close to kickoff. So let's hope United get a win. I'm going 2-0. I'm going 2-0. Give us your score predictions. Let's see what people say. Let's keep an eye on very early on how Martial starts, whether he starts on the right or the left. United players are all just coming in, I think, to do their tribute to Liam Miller now. We've obviously done ours, but it doesn't mean we can't. Well, I don't think there is going to be one. I think they're just going to wear the armbands, which, it's not at Old Trafford, is it? Let me get this timer thing ready. Newcastle, they really don't have many players of any use in there. I mean, John Joe Shelby, I just think they're going to be combative. They're not a great team. I'm sure Benitez will probably keep them up. He's not a bad manager despite having a job as a waiter on the side. But we're off. We're off. Team timer should be up. Yes, time is up. Need to put the score up as well. But the game is off and it's not 2-0 to Newcastle. Don't worry. That's a legacy from another game, which was probably United last week, wasn't it? Yes, 2-0 against Huddersfield. Funnily enough, I think it'll be 2-0 today. I hope we can get more than that, but let's see how we go. Another game to see Alexis Sanchez in a Manchester United shirt as well. But we're up and running. We're up and running, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. But we're up and running. We are 35 seconds into the game. Sanchez on the left, Martial on the right, and Lingard at number 10. Good little start from Martial, actually. Nice little bit of dribbling. Again, this gets on my nerves about Martial. Fouled and nothing given. Completely grabs him in the face right in front of the referee. Oh no, that's a foul. That's okay. This would just be typical if Martial's injured. So basically, Martial goes on quite a good run. And their thug of a midfielder just barges in front of him and rips him across the face with his hand. But no, referee says no foul. Absolutely great. Absolutely brilliant. I've said this many a time on many watch-alongs though. Martial and Sanchez is quite similar as well from what I've seen already. Must be the most fouled player who doesn't get free kicks for it. He never gets free kicks. What's happened to him is he's caught a finger in the eye, and he's going to be all right, I think. But bloody ridiculous referee. Good start, good start from the ref. Staring right at it. Play on. Stephens Rozo says Mourinho would be happy if Martial got injured because then he wouldn't have to pick him. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Senava says it wasn't a really bad foul. Unfortunately, in the rules, Senava, there is no grading of fouls. It's either a foul or it isn't, and it's dangerous play. If you're throwing your arms back, if that had been an elbow in his eye, it would have been a red card. Deliberate or not, and it's a foul. Simple as. Whether it's soft or not, it's a foul. Anyway, that should just be a warning to United that they've got to get up for this. But what I like, straight away what I like, is the fact... This is why I said pick Jesse Lingard today. Because if we can get the ball into Lingard, there's nobody really close to him. And we know that Lingard's big thing about his game is the fact that he can spin and get into space. And I think in a game like this, he can do that. We should be winning this game. We should be winning this game. Oh, straight away, free kick to Newcastle on the edge of the box. Ball blasted at one of our players from 2 yards away. Hits him on the hand. Oh, that's definitely a free kick. Soft. It's not a handball. How's that a handball? It's like 2 yards away and it hits him on the arm. Not a handball, says haha banter. Ref's had a cracking start. It's Jamaica, says Aldan Malcolm, and it's 9:20 AM. It's on Sky Sports, guys. Says Rishi Palmer. This is not a good start, says Vivek. A great save by De Gea. Free kick hits the wall, bounces to John Joe Shelvey on the edge of the box, hits it well, and De Gea makes a worldie. I think it's a worldie. We'll have to see the replay again. But it looked like a great save. The ball hits the wall, bounces to Shelvey. De Gea makes... probably could have put it a little bit further to De Gea's left, to be fair. But still a good save for De Gea early on. And, you know, good save. What a save, says Sanava. Adam Forrester says, we'll get beat with this lineup. Crap, I'm with Alex on this. I'm not too convinced what people would do differently. Obviously, Rojo for Jones and Young for sure, I agree with. But in an attacking way, I'm not so sure. What would you do? 1 a.m. here in Australia, says Bradley Davidson. Martial started off quite well. Prediction for first goal scorer, Mark. I actually entered the competition on the United Twitter account. They wanted the first goal scorer and the score to win a ticket to the Liverpool game. And I said, Lukaku first goal, United 2-0. Lewis McMahon, I am, yes. De Gea is world class, says Dees TV. I've been saying for about 3 years he's the best goalkeeper in the world. He's better than Neuer, I think. Martial, he's already causing them problems down that right-hand side. Not his best side, Martial, but if he wants to play for Manchester United, he's going to have to play in that position, and he started off really well. Pogba turn. United started off well. Newcastle's only real opportunity is to get physical. Again, another foul by that same player. I think is it Diam for Newcastle? Fouls Pogba. Ref says play on. Here we go. Come on. Good. No, Matic, you've got to do better there. Shot get us away. Newcastle fighting for survival. It's a dangerous game, says Cranium1210. I think in the context of Manchester United trying to get second place, this sort of result today is one where we can't give others a breathing space, or we can't give other people a sort of chance to catch us. If we win today, keep that 6-point gap. It's a nice bit of comfort, isn't it? Mo DM, says Jared Passman. That's the one. Greetings from Indonesia, says Gedi Agus P. Greetings to everybody, and greetings to anybody who's new today. Make sure you subscribe. We're very close to 191,000 subscribers, so subscribe to the channel, get involved. You will not be disappointed. We've got a fantastic community. We will be taking your calls after the game as well, so if you've got any thoughts during the game or anything that's riling you or that you're happy with, get a pen, get a paper, write it down and give us a call after the game. A lot of United's play going down the right at the moment, which is good if you're a Martial fan, not so good if you want to see Alexis Sanchez on the ball, because we haven't seen much of Sanchez so far. Here's Lingard. This is the sort of game I would expect Jesse Lingard to play well in. Pogba not had a great start, but Matic has won it back there, and the foul on ref's awful. I'll say it again. Pogba said, what is Pogba doing, says Gamer Blamer. He's had a bit of a slow start. Mike Jones is a Newcastle fan. Welcome. Everyone welcome on here. We'll always be respectful. He says, you'll stuff us today. I think United need to get into a couple of gears first. We've not started off very well. They're pressing all the way, says B and Ricky. And poor start from United, says Dal Baines. And watching on a train journey, says Aaron Chopra. I don't know the name of the referee. I recognise him, but I can't think what his name is. Stephens, Roso, you'll be totally blocked off in a minute. I don't want to answer questions about that. Whether you're being naive or doing it on purpose, you've had your warning. This is so bad again. Mourinho got it all wrong, says Afaf. Oh, it's very early in the game to be saying that. Oh, I suppose 10 minutes has gone. Craig Pawson is the name of the referee. Thanks to Alan and Sadvik and James and anybody else who's telling us as well. Not good enough on the ball to beat the high press, says Red Jedi. And ref is a joke. He was on the Spurs versus Liverpool game. I don't think he was. No, he's not the same ref. Loads of people saying Craig Pawson. There we go. United need to wake up, says Hans Sejar. Look, this is exactly what I've said before about United over the last 3 or 4 years, really. Yeah, you can look at a lineup and say it's really good, but if the players don't turn up and they're not switched on, that's been United's problem for a long time. At the moment, Newcastle are well worked back by Sanchez, but Newcastle still picking up the second ball. Cross comes in. Ooh, well done, Smalling. Come on. Everyone give Smalling a bit of a praise there, because that's why he plays for me. Because without Bailly, he's our best player in the air. We needed him there. We're not dealing with the press. And we're not dealing with the second balls, but Lingard's just taken a foul there off Shelby, which will at least buy us a little bit of time. COD Gamer, I agree. United need to wake up. Martial's on the right, Luciano. He's on the right. United not had a chance on goal yet. Sanchez was the player who's got injured, actually. It wasn't Lingard. I thought it was Lingard. It's not. It's Sanchez. Right, here's Pogba with a bit of a chance to run. Not been Pogba's best game so far, and again, he's not making the passes. You wonder if Pogba is carrying a bit of a knock. Very poor first 12 minutes from him. Last game away in the league, Spurs got a lot of stick. Rashford's injured, Aman more, as is Herrera. Do you think Rashford would have started if over Martial if he'd have been fit? Well, we'll never know. We look terrible so far, says Marlon Bloomfield. And AJ now makes a very good point. Bookmark this. He said they may be pressing well at the moment, but they can't keep doing it for 90 minutes. And remember, United, even when we were 4-0 FC, I remember us in games at the start of the season where, you know, the first half, it was, you know, it wasn't like we were battering teams in the first half. It was the last sort of 30 minutes of games. So let them press. If they don't score, they don't score, do they? Here's Lingard, sideways pass per usual. Right. Matic gets the foul at last. We've not had a shot yet, says Lorcan. It's a hard watch, says Craig Bate. Right, United finally having a bit of possession here in the half, and Sanchez gets the ball. Good little ball to Martial into the box. He needs someone there. The cross is good, but where Lukaku is clapping Martial for the cross, but Lukaku is stood on the back post with 3 Newcastle players in front of him. You've got to get in the centre, Romelu. It's an impossible cross to get it to you on the back post with 3 Newcastle players in front of you. And then you're clapping him. Don't clap him. Get in the bloody box in the right position. Jesus Christ, it does my head in. Good build-up play between Sanchez and Martial there. But Lukaku's position is totally wrong. If you watch him on the playback, he's pulling off to the back post. He's got to be attacking. He's got to get in front of that defender. That is impossible for him to get on the end of that cross. Impossible. But Martial started off quite well, to be fair. I think, anyway. Pogba off. No, he's still on the pitch. I think just on my plays, can I just explain something to you that you might not have the mental capacity to realise? We're streaming through YouTube. YouTube is not going to be second for second. So what you're watching is obviously going to be a few seconds behind for me, maybe up to 30 seconds behind. I'm watching the game live, but what you're getting on your live stream is probably 30 seconds behind me, because that is how live streaming works. You don't get second for second unless you are someone like Sky Sports or BT. Hence, this is why we use the timer. If you want to sync in with us, pause your game and sync your timer with ours, but we cannot do second for second. So it always makes me laugh when people go, laugh out loud, you're 30 seconds behind. I'm not. I'm watching it as it's happening. YouTube puts a delay in of 30 seconds automatically. So if you want to be synced in with us, that's why we use the timer. But I'm bored of silly little comments like that, like you've got one up on us. I'm in the UK, watching it on a very good broadcaster, second for second. It's YouTube who puts the delay in. Newcastle nearly. Oh, Ashley Young. Might work out, but you've put Matic under a lot of pressure there. And Pogba again. Now, this is where Lukaku, decent ball, very good ball by Lukaku. Very good pace by the Newcastle defender, but Sanchez has done very well. Very well indeed. Sanchez, Lukaku, block. I was hoping Martial was going to come in there. Jacob Stewart says Pogba is shackled in that position. We are away from home, Jacob. He can't play with a free roll when he's got Lingard ahead of him. You know, you can't have two midfielders like that. But it was a lovely little ball by Lukaku, and Sanchez showed real strength and pace there because the Newcastle defender was getting at him really well. And real quality by Sanchez. The layoff is good. If Lukaku had a footballing brain there or a shout, he could have left it. Tunde says, why is Ashley Young playing after his horror show against Spurs? You could say the same about Jones. Sanchez getting a lot more of the ball now, which is good to see. Top quality player that he is. I think him and Martial have played well in this game, to be fair. 'Minigamer says, what a start. Starting to press more, says David Garran. Well, I think we've got to react, haven't we? We've got to react. Not the best of starts from United, to be fair. And you've got to react. "20 minutes in. I suppose we could call Lukaku's shot a shot on goal. This is the Foot mobile app. Link in the video description for this. I'm just going to have a quick look at what they have got in relation to the game. Key players so far. Dwight Gale has had one shot. Chris Smalling, 2 clearances. Jesse Lingard winning with 12 accurate passes. Match facts. Let's have a look at the stats. Ball possession. United still had nearly 60%. No shots to Newcastle's 5. Accurate passing better. Accurate passing much better. Success better. 2 fouls each. But Newcastle with more shots. Link in the video description for that. FOT mobile. Give it a download for free. Very good app. And I really like it for all the stats and stuff. And especially how it breaks it down for individual players, which we'll take a look at when we get a goal. But Chris Smalling, interestingly, I like Smalling. People don't like him. I tell you what, when Eric Bailly's back fit, Smalling gets dropped. I totally agree with that. But in the absence of Eric Bailly, Chris Smalling needs to play, because you've got to have somebody who's good in the air. And Phil Jones is not as good in the air as Chris Smalling, and neither is Lindelof, and neither is Rojo. The only player who can compete with Smalling in the air is Bailly, and he's injured. That's why Smalling plays. Newcastle are playing quite a high line, says Luca. Yeah, I'm really pleased with Martial. I think he's been brilliant in this game so far. Lukaku, what are you doing? Oh, he's so clumsy, isn't he? He's so clumsy, Lukaku. But Martial's the standout player for me. I don't know what everyone else thinks. Give us your standout player so far. I think Martial's been fantastic. Really do. Sanchez doing as well. I agree with Dark Star. Sanchez is making a big impact for us. Happy we signed him. I'd like to see a bit of changeover. I'd like to see a bit of a changeover between Martial and Sanchez at some point. But maybe we'll see that a little bit later on. But I think he's played really well, Martial. And Sanchez is such a good player. Andrew Suddick says Lukaku wasn't offside. It doesn't matter. He made a bloody mess of it. Njodsi says we're playing a little bit slow. We are. Look, I did the tactics show on Wednesday lunchtime. If anybody saw it, what did we say? Ball from back to front is way too slow. But when we get the ball to Sanchez, Martial, Lingard, it's quick. What we need are midfielders and defenders who can move the ball quickly from back to front. It's too slow. But it's not such a problem away from home because the home team's got to get at you. But at Old Trafford, it really does cause us issues. I think if Pogba can turn this on. Worley says Sanchez is the best player on the pitch. Stephens Rosso, not a problem at all, pal. Like I said, you know, it could well have been naivety, so it's fine, don't worry. Andrew K, my main issue is Martial on the right. Sanchez with his experience and guile can do a job. Martial is coming inside a lot. Oh, pardon. He is coming into the central positions a bit though. It's just the thing I like about Martial. It's like there, he's got the ball, but it's that common sense to just retain the ball. There's so much maturity to Martial's game this season. It's not always looking to run at people. He will keep hold of the ball as well. Lingard, here is Martial. Oh, come on. Valencia, that's right at you. But decent start. Sanchez and Martial playing well, says JD Season. Alexi always looking for Lukaku, says Samuel R. Why are we playing young, says Retro Gamer. Martial left and Alexi at 10 with Lingard on the right, says Xavier Daniels. Yeah, I think that there needs to be that fluidity between those three players. Abbas Younes says that Martial's been by far our best player so far. Well, after a bit of a poor first 10 minutes from United, I think the last 10 minutes we've started to get a grip possession-wise. We saw the stats which we put up on the FOT Mobile app, and that's only going up at the moment. You know, United are starting to get control. Martial, lovely little play, and keeps possession again. Brilliant. That's, you know, under a bit of pressure, keeps hold of the ball. That's what it's all about. It's a shame you, Luke Shaw's not playing, says Giesel Cesar. Boring game, says Samatar. No, look, everyone's got their opinion. I think it's too easy to say United are boring. I think this is a away game against the team that's going to be up for it, and we are starting to work our way into the game. We didn't start off well in the first 10 minutes, but to be fair, the last 10 minutes has been much better. You know, Manchester United, we've spoken about this. What is our identity? Are we going to win the league this year? No. Have we got an identity yet? No. So we're going to have to, you know, we are progressing under Mourinho, and we're gradually getting to where we need to be. Good ball by Pogba, and it's Martial's opportunity to run in. Oh, nearly get Sanchez in. Intelligent play and good running, and Sanchez appreciates it. He just couldn't get it through his feet. Bise Gaming says Martial's very mature for a 21-year-old. This is it though. Pogba in his own half, 40-yard pass. Martial gets on the run. Sanchez is making a darting run. If Sanchez gets that, the final pass is Lingard, and he's one-on-one. Quick play from midfield to forward. Pogba, Martial, Sanchez almost worked. There you go, Ashley. We've got a bit of time here. Come on, just find a pass. That's the ball. Valencia, Pogba, cross. Nothing. Sanchez gets on the end of it. Danny Green, Gary Neville saying Martial poor. Come on. Seriously? Is that a genuine quote? He must be watching another... I don't think... But there's a little bit of... I don't know whether this is true. I don't listen to Gary Neville enough to know. But hasn't Gary Neville had a bit of stick in relation to Martial in the past anyway? But loves Rashford. Lovely little ball that is. Lukaku. Good defending by Lascelles for Newcastle. Martial is the key player, says Nicolino. I think United are playing quite well now for an away performance. I am quite enjoying it. Haha Banter's just said that as well. Martial and Sanchez are coming into the game a lot more. Lukaku's the one driving the... pushing the line back of Newcastle. Newcastle centre-backs are quite quick. Nico, Ahmed. Hopefully we'll have the betting challenges back at some point. Good little play here. Lingard. Poor pass. This is the trouble with Lingard. Lingard's really good running at the back fours, but his passing and his guile and his intricacy and his creativity, it's just not good enough for that position. It's a simple pass to Sanchez there and it breaks down. Man United's just said Lingard can't pass. Final ball, Stephen O'Brien. See, Lingard likes the sideways pass. He loves it. Final ball letting us down, says Stephen O'Brien. United are starting to dominate JD season, I agree. That's what she said. Lingard. But you see now Newcastle are going to have to... their pressing game has sort of disappeared already, hasn't it? Because United have suddenly got the ball and are passing it well. Sandip's just asked a decent question and I'm just wondering if we can get that information. Here we go, United. Ashley Young's getting forward a lot. I still don't like Ashley Young at left back because I just don't like the right-footedness of him. Bob says it's a good atmosphere at a game. Come back to the live comments. Mourinho's tactics are just too medieval, says Walter. I think we're getting there. I just think the next stage is the midfield. The midfield's a bit too slow, and getting the ball from back to front quick is always our problem. I'm just putting a tweet out there, just basically saying what I've been saying it for a long time, and I know a lot of you do as well. It's Manchester United's problem is always slow ball from back to front. By the time our attackers get it, good shot there, but straight at De Gea. I was a bit worried then, but he can't get the angles right. But it was obviously down his throat. Yeah, slow ball from back to front is always United's problem, and we have got the attackers to hurt them, but by the time they get the ball, the opposition are never stretched. And I've said this so many times, even with Spurs yesterday against Arsenal, but City and Liverpool are good at it as well, and Spurs are good at it. It's they stretch the opposition because they move the ball quickly from back to front. Again, Martial fouled by the same player. No foul. Ref staring straight at it. It's just madness. You can almost see sometimes why Mourinho doesn't pick Martial, because it's like, well, he might be a really good player, but he gets no fouls. Well, if Newcastle score from this, it was a foul in the... Good block that by Phil Jones. Smalling. The ref is awful, says Nijosi. And that'll go out for a throw-in. Manchester United says he's been watching the channel since 2005. 15! Not 2005. Pogba's injured, says Alam Ali. Well, maybe. Well, there was that. We don't know how true it was, but there was that indication that he may have missed the game through injury because he pulled up. Brishesh Bisalari, if you want to time him out, moderators, he says Martial's been poor. He's clearly not watching the game, so time him out. Punishment. June Lee, Martial is horrible. God. You know, I'm all fan opinion, but come on. You can't give a prediction on it. You can't give a fair reflection on a player's performance because you're watching it on teletext. Match will be a draw, says Liverpool fans. Jones can score an own goal today, says Abhishek. And don't just think it's a midfield mark. I think we lack a great ball player from the back too. Good point. LPHI XDJ. I mean, that's part of the reason we signed Lindelof, wasn't it? But can't get a look in at the moment. Camille says he's not getting notifications when we're online. Just, if you're not getting notifications for the United stand, YouTube's been funny for quite a while now. Here we go. Lingard gets the shot away. I would have used Young on the overlap really, but we've got a corner. If you're not getting your notifications, just go down. Make sure you are subscribed, by the way, but click the bell next to the subscribe button and tick get all notifications. And then you'll get all your notifications when we're live. Or if you're on your phone, on some of them, you just need to click the bell. But not a lot of people know that. She was only 14 years old. Corner here, Ashley Young. Cleared. That's a shame. We've got players tall enough, you know. Lynn Hall says, looks like Martial will have to adapt to the right wing. A draw is not a good result, I agree. Giesel Carrere says, Cesar says, I don't understand Mourinho's tactics, do you? If we've got moderators on, if you can just tell people about the 30-second thing. I mean, it's boring. I've already spoke about it once. I'm not going to mention it again if people can't figure it out. 33 minutes gone. Not a clear-cut chance for United again. I do remember Soccerbox, Tiny Maria 75. Mario, I used to present it. Zed Jamie says the atmosphere here is sensational. He's at the game. No, tell you what, fair play to Newcastle. One of the few grounds in the Premier League where you can actually get some Wi-Fi. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're very, very, very close to 191,000 subscribers now. So subscribe if you're new and get involved. We will have fan cams up tonight. We will have reaction after the game, phone in, so you can have your say if you're happy or you're not. And if you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, give us a call. And also we've got 8 o'clock show live as well on the United stand. I think we will have Sophie on the show as well. So get involved. You'll love it on here. The community is fantastic. And you make the show what it is. If you are getting a delay, that's the reason we put the timer on there. Sync in with us. A lot of people are watching this on their own, so does it really matter if you're 20 seconds behind and you synced in with the United stand? So that's why we have the timer. Newcastle, I think, are just going through 5 minutes of pressing us again at the moment because they're starting to get a little bit more of the ball. Matic needed to get that out his feet quicker. Martial in a one-on-one. Oh, good save by the keeper. Oh, damn alright. Martial's going to get a bit of stick for that. You put your mortgage on him. Great bit of play. Keeper comes, damn. Well, it was good play. It was a lovely ball by Matic. I thought he delayed it, but he didn't. It was a perfect through ball by Matic. Great ball, says Peter Doyle. Lovely ball, absolutely perfect. Martial does everything right, and in a one-on-one situation, he's not central. It's a good save from the keeper, to be fair, but I still think he's got to score that. He's got to score it. If that was Lingard or Lukaku, we'd be giving them stick. He's got to save it. And David Green is right. Garan, sorry. He's got to finish there. I totally agree. Lukaku's getting a lot of praise. Good play there by Pogba. And Sanchez as well. That Diam's a handful in their midfield, I'll say that. I wouldn't say he's a good footballer, he's just a very, very physical footballer. And likes to give a foul away. Goal kick, Newcastle player. Gale thought he was getting a corner, let it go. Benitez not happy. Someone's not happy with their order. Get back in the kitchen. I think Phil Jones probably did touch that. Snap says goals are going to be coming. Lots of people talking about the crowd. Well, there's nothing else to do in Newcastle. That's why they get so many fans. They're rubbish. They're a nothing club. They call themselves the Sleeping Giants, Newcastle. More like the Sleeping Shrew. They've got no history. They've got no right to say they're a sleeping giant. What they are is a city that's got a lot of people with not a lot to do. So that's why they sell out their ground. But then, you know, the closest ever they ever came to a title was when Sir Alex Ferguson put Keegan back in his box. Lukaku's cross. Martial. Ooh. I don't think he could have done much better than he did there. He got up well, Martial. It's a good cross by Lukaku. Up he goes. I think the defenders just put him off enough. In that one-on-one situation, he's got to score. Go through the keeper's legs. He's got to score that. Martial's got to score that. I think he's played well though, Bang Roji. I think Martial has played really well, but he's got to score. That'll be enough for Mourinho. But we're looking good. I'd be very surprised if we lost this game. I think Newcastle started off quite well, but they're a very limited side and they will tire, and the quality is already starting to come through in this game. Newcastle fans looking for a foul. Benitez is having a bloody nightmare in his restaurant. Complaints galore and he doesn't know what to do. He'll probably take Martial off at half time, says Game of Blame. Well, that would be ridiculous. I tell you what, if that was a foul on Smalling, it's probably a penalty. It wasn't given anyway. But what I would say is, I don't like Martial playing on the right. Of course, I don't. I prefer him on the left. But what I do like about United with Martial and Sanchez, whatever position they're in, is that speed and fluidity is so much better than it is. Matters too slow. Young. Cross comes in, back post, Pogba, oh, good defending. Free kick, it was a free kick. They're defending for their lives. Defending for their lives at the moment, Newcastle. I think we're good for a goal. Af says Martial's wasted 2 goals. Oh, come on. I don't think you can say that the header was a clear-cut chance at all. Very good point from Christopher Hollett. Very good point. So good that I'm not going to say nick it, but it's a good point that if Martial's actually running in through one-on-one on the left-hand side, he scores because he's got more of the goal to aim at. But because it's right-sided, it's not so easy. He still should have scored though. Take Lingard off, says Xavier Daniels. Too weak. Oh, he's got a free kick. I didn't think it was a free kick by Yedlin. Age 13's made a contribution. He says, is this because Martial is coming in from right today? Just a thought. All his goals coming from the left or centrally. Yeah, probably a good point. Well, it looks like it's going to be 0-0 at half time. And remember, if you want to make a contribution, you can do that through the super chat option, which is the $1 at the bottom of the live comments. And make sure if you do, you leave us a question because we'll always read it out for you. Pogba's not in the game at all, says Peter Doyle. I don't think Lingard and Pogba are in the game at all. But we should still be in front. We should be in front. The Martial chance was very good and it was brilliant play by Matic. Now, Martial's got to give and go here, and he has, into Lingard, and the ball's... get Lingard off. Get Lingard off. I don't get Lingard loving at the moment because apart from the goal against Yeovil, his last 4 or 5 Premier League games have been absolutely dreadful in relation to what he's meant to be, which is a number 10. He'd probably take off Martial and keep Lingard on. You're right. You're right. Well, I think because we're not interchanging with Sanchez and Lingard and Martial, so Mata may as well play at number 10. If we're not interchanging, then Mata just get Mata to come on at number 10. It's looking like 0-0 at half time. I'd say United have been comfortable. Good save from Shelvey by De Gea. 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of the half. It's a big shame that Martial doesn't score that goal, I agree. Because if he does, obviously we're 1-0 up and this game needs a goal. Zachary Burrell says your obsession with Martial is sickening, yawn. I'd say, I'd say to that, Zachary, in all honesty, not as a United stander, as me, Mark Goldbridge, the presenter of the channel, I find your obsession with being anti-United players quite boring, to be honest. Is there any problem with somebody being positive about a player that they believe is potentially world class? Yes, Anthony Martial should score that chance one-on-one, but beyond that, he's still been one of the best players on the pitch. I don't hang people out to dry just because they miss a chance. And Lukaku's got a chance. And he goes over the bar for a corner, which we're going to have to be very, very, very fast to take. But I don't get that. Zachary, what are you on about? Your obsession with Martial is sickening. The fact that I like a United player who's playing well is sickening to you, is it? I suggest you're probably not on the right channel and not a United fan. I don't get that. I don't understand that. Now, obviously, I've been not so pleased with Fellaini in the past, but I've always congratulated when he scored. But 9 times out of 10, he's a poor player. I think Martial's been fantastic in that half. He's got to score the chance, though. Thomas Charlton, Martial's been poor. Oh, God, it frustrates me so much. I don't really think you're watching the game. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he was brilliant in that half. I think people are finicky little Arsenal fans moaning because somebody's missed a one-on-one chance. Apart from that, which he should score, I think he was the man of the half. I thought he was superb. He kept the ball. He rotated the ball. He made good runs. He's been interchanging. I thought he's got to score the one-on-one. I totally agree with that. But to start hounding him out and saying he had a bad game because he's missing the first half, you clearly have got blinkered agenda opinions in relation to Anthony Martial. What do you want to do? Should we take him off and bring McTominay on? Go on then. Go ahead. Let's take Martial off. Let's bring McTominay on. I'll tell you what, even better. Let's bring Juan Mata on and slow our right-hand side down a little bit more. Come on. I mean, don't make comments if you've not got a bit of context to it. Sanchez, man of the match, says St. Columbo. Martial played well, says Zulhair BH. Lil TV, Martial's been poor. Him and Pogba out, please. Okay, it's all about opinion. Lingard's been poor, says Jordan Burns. Martial will be a Ballon d'Or winner, says Bradley Martin. Stern, Martial was poor. James Morley, just because you missed one chance doesn't mean you've had a bad game. Comment of the half time. Mark, please let them say their opinion, says John Sherrell. Oh God. I'm struggling with you, I'm really struggling with you today. What do you think I'm doing? Making these comments up? Jesus, I don't understand where this really does frustrate me. I don't really understand where we're going as a support sometimes. We're 0-0. We should be 1-0 because Martial should have scored. We're not playing boring football. We're not and never should be Mourinho out. We are away from home in a very, very tough atmosphere against a team that is physically up for it, and we've dominated them for the last 20 minutes. We created the chance we should have scored. We missed it, but apart from that, we're playing well. I don't see how Newcastle can win this game, and it's moan, 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 moan. What? Where have you been for the last 20 years supporting Manchester United? We didn't turn up every single game and blitz people. The season we won the title with Sir Alex Ferguson, we were like 2-0 down away to Southampton, and Van Persie had to get us out of it with a stunning hat-trick. We've never, ever, for many years, turned up at places and been 3 or 4-0 up at half-time. That's not... You're playing too much FIFA. You are playing too much FIFA. You've got to get into the real world. In relation to an away performance and the way we've been playing recently, that's not a bad, boring half. And I don't know what your standards are. People who are calling it boring. Really. And this isn't, oh, you just love Mourinho or whatever like that. I genuinely don't see much wrong with that performance in that first half. I don't see boring football. I don't see park the bus. I see we should be 1-0 up and I see Martial should have scored. But I don't see why people are saying that's boring. Get Pogba off. Get Martial off. Do this, do that. For who? For what? What have we got better than them? And what are they going to do better than that? The only team that's going to turn up and smash Newcastle and be 3-0 at half-time is Man City. And I bet they wouldn't be 3-0 up at half-time. It's just not real life. You've got to get your expectations a little bit real. I love everybody's opinions, you know I do, but I do get frustrated by this myth. What do you expect? I've been supporting United for decades, and very rarely away from home will we be 4-0 up at half time. That's not real. That's FIFA that you're playing at tonight. It's not real. It's not real. Constructive criticism. Yeah, Lingard's final ball is terrible. Yes, Martial should have scored that one-on-one, but I thought he played really well in that half. Yes, we need to get Sanchez involved a little bit more. Yes, Ashley Young is too right-footed down that left-hand side, and I would like to see Shaw play. But Jones and Smalling, not really done anything wrong. Matic, I think, has played quite well. Pogba needs to do a little bit more. Of course he does, for the quality of player that he is. But Lukaku's played well as well. I'll be the first one to be critical when it needs to be. But actually, in the context of what we're doing in that game, I don't think we're doing much wrong. Karen Dugel has made a contribution. Take off Lingard, put Young right wing and Shaw to left back. Man United defence is playing the ball way too slow to our midfield, says Tage Vagsethar. Yeah, I agree. We know that. You're spot on. We don't move the ball from back to front quick enough. But actually, that chance for Martial, that pass by Matic, is exactly what we want to see more of from Matic. That forward pass, it's one of the best passes he's played all season. It's such a shame Martial misses it. Mark Gowins, calm down, Mark. Don't let the trolls get you down. No, look, I know what trolls are, Mark. We all know what trolls are. But what we're talking about here is that you see it, I see it. I'm not having a pop at the people who say it. What I'm saying is, I think when you're saying it, maybe have a little bit of a think. I see it time and time again, and sometimes they're right. But first 10 minutes of a game, first 20 minutes of a game, this is boring. Mourinho doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Boring. Take Pogba off. And I tell you what, sometimes you're right, but most of the time you're wrong. This is a tough place to come for a team that's really not sorted its identity out yet. I don't see a problem with that first half, apart from the fact we haven't scored the Martial chance. Yeah, Lingard's giving it away a lot. I doubt he'll be subbed at half time. If we keep playing like that, we'd be very unlucky not to come out with a win, because they're going to tire in the second half. I don't think it's a bad performance. I don't. Entertainment TV prefers Mkhitaryan over Martial. Hello, Arsenal fan. Matic is following orders, not allowed to pass the midfield too. Shackled, says Paul Robinson. Yes, I'd agree with that. I think that's exactly what we've seen with Herrera this season as well. Scott McTominay on for Lingard. Pogba looks lost in the midfield, says Nipan. Yeah, I suppose you could play Pogba a little further forward. We need to turn the timer off. You're right, it's not the 52nd minute. Get that off. Newcastle is a tough game, says Devon Singh, and then laughs. I wish I hadn't read that comment because it's just very naive. Sorry, but most fans don't play football, let alone understand football, says Jave Linehan. Alan Burns, we're United fans. We want to see youth and good football, not this. I disagree, but you've had your say. People can agree with you if they want. How many years will United be rebuilding stage? Excuses, says D Wizzle 0007. You know how many years Liverpool have been in the rebuilding stage, mate? Nearly 30. You know how many years Arsenal have been in the rebuilding stage since the Invincibles? Over a decade. Manchester United haven't even had Mourinho for 2 years. The mess that Van Gaal and Moyes made, that team was crap that Mourinho inherited. We won a Europa League last year. We won the League Cup last year. We finished 6th last year. We've been consistently 2nd this year. We're in the Champions League. We're in the FA Cup. We've just made a massive signing in January. Progress is real. So what's the excuses about that? You expected Mourinho to come in and win the Premier League, did you, straight away with that team? Your opinion. Your opinion. Don't understand what the gaffer sees in Lingard, says Akin. You know what? I'm not going to be totally positive. I agree with you. I don't think Lingard's had a good half. I think his passing, when most of it is 5 yards, is poor. Afaf says the save from Martial was world class. I still think he should finish it, and I love Martial, and I agree with JK48. He should have scored. How nice was Matic's pass that put Martial in, says Kev Cunningham. Brilliant. Probably the pass of the season. A United says there's been no progress. Okay. We're not playing that bad, but we can improve, says Nick Aluni. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Mark Davis, we aren't playing that bad. People forget some games will need to grind out a result. Good point. Who will get top 4? Jordan Flynn. As long as we do, that's all that matters. Martial to left. Take off Lingard for Mata on the right. And we've had another contribution from Sean Atwood. Martial and Sanchez goals in the second half. These Martial haters probably think Fellaini is Roy Keane. Good comment. Thanks for the contribution. Get Lingard off the matter seems to be quite a relevant theme. I'll tell you what though, we do have, let me move on to this for you. You can download, you can download get my words out, the FOT mobile app. Link is in the video description for that. Really good for all your stats and all that jazz. But what I wanted to have a look at was stats in relation to that first half. 62% to Manchester United, 5 shots to Newcastle's 8. I don't know when Newcastle have had their 8 shots from. 251 passes to their 129. We've got the best pass success rate. We have dominated them in relation to possession. I don't know how they've had so many shots, but we've had way more passes. We've had way more duels won. But Martial's had 2 shots. Obviously, he didn't score that one. The header was a tougher one. John Joe Shelby's had a couple of shots as well. Passes and completion rate. So Pogba has the best pass completion rate at 86%, despite having a bad half. Phil Jones has a 94% one. He will do if he passed sideways. Clearances and tackles, Anthony Martial, the most. So Mourinho's probably very, very pleased with that. Very, very pleased with that, I would have thought. But you can download that, link in the video description for it. You can get all your latest Manchester United news. You can have your individual sort of stats as well. Like if you wanted to have a look at Pogba's stats, how many minutes he's played this season, how many goals he's scored inside and outside the box, his pass percentage rate, shots on target, all that jazz. Download it for free. Link in the video description. FOT mobile, really, really good app, and you can get all your stats on there as well. Let's come back to the live comments. I still think we're going to win this game. I still think we're going to win it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner icon. We will have fan cams. Maybe the fans will agree with me. Maybe some of the fans will agree with you that it's boring football and Mourinho should leave. Also, seems to be quite a tempestuous live comments tonight. This afternoon, sorry. We will be live after the game. You can call in and have your say. If you're not happy with it, call in and have your say straight after the game. Skype Goldbridge, all one word. And we will be live at 8 o'clock tonight with Sophie and another guest for the Sunday Night Live show. So loads and loads of opportunity to get involved. That's what the United Stand's all about. Community, your opinions. Bring it on. We need to sell Blind, Darmian, Young and Fellaini, says Ibrahim. And Sanchez on, please, Mourinho, says Aryan Santosh. Don't know whether that's a bit of sarcasm. And Tom P says Lingard's first touch and interplay is well behind Sanchez and Martial. Yeah, he doesn't. In fairness to Lingard, I would have played Lingard today. I said this in the preview. But what Lingard doesn't have and never will have is guile and intelligence to play passes. He's not. What Lingard's good at, and this is probably why he should play on the right wing, he's good at getting the ball and running forward. And if there's the space for him to do that, he's very good. But he's not a number 10. He's not a number 10. Alexa Nicola, are our players afraid to lose the ball with forward? Do you think Mourinho is hard on the players for longer passes from our back four? Can't back our centre-backs like I used to with Ferdinand and Vidic. Thanks for that contribution. I'll come back to that in a minute. And Daniel Shaw, thank you. He says 4-3-2-1 is not the way forward for me. We don't get close enough to the opposition defence. Lukaku has been very good though with his hold-up play. Thanks for that, Alex. In relation to what Alexi said, sorry, Daniel Shaw that was, and in relation to what Alexi Nicola said, I think you're right. I think this season I've seen Herrera stop passing forward. We've not really seen Matic do it much. He sort of had to do it in that situation to Martial because he was going forward. We haven't done it as much as I would like to see us do it. Maybe that is from Mourinho. I don't know. I honestly cannot say for sure whether he does or he doesn't. Tell them to be a little bit more restrictive in their passing, but we don't get the ball from back to front quick enough. We don't. Are we playing the 4-3-2-1 today? Says Shaz Rosie. I think we're playing a 4-2-3-1, aren't we? Because it's back four, Matic and Pogba, and then your three, then your one. Newcastle fan here. Your fans need to get off your backs. You've played well, especially Martial, says Lewis White. Thank you. I agree. Aren't we playing more 4-2-3-1 rather than 4-3-2-1? Says Gungshi. Yes, we are. Why doesn't nobody want to play 4-4-2? I don't get it, especially in these type of games. I don't see many teams playing 4-4-2 now because you never really have two forwards, do you? You can't play two forwards. Your number 10, your Lingard, always has to drop into the midfield, and Lukaku stays up on his own. Zed Jamie says, I'm at the game live. Martial has been excellent. My man of the match so far. There you go. Okay. Silva and De Bruyne always play passes like Matic did. That shows we are so behind, says Pravin. Yeah, I think we do need to play those sort of passes more. Carl Plasic says the audio news on the FOT Mob is really good. It is. It is. I'll try and get that working in the second half. That's free to download. Link in the video description. FOT Mob app. Please do download it. Really, really good for all your United news and football news in general. And they're coming out for the second half now. Martial's obviously a bit of a divider. Some people don't think he's played very well. Andrew Southwick says there's nearly 5,000 people watching. Please do subscribe then, bottom right hand corner. And I think we're going to have a very interesting show, not only after the game, the call-in, make sure you join us for that, but I think also at the 8 o'clock show is going to be interesting as well. I'm joined by Jared for the second half. How you doing, Jared?
What's up, Mark? How you doing?
I'm all right. I think I need a companion for the second half. Live comments, I applaud them, but they are very challenging and very demanding today. You know, I'm a human being and I've got my own opinions, and I've always said that the Mark Goldbridge opinion isn't necessarily the United stand one, but I have to, you know, I can only reflect what I feel, and I wouldn't make any changes at half time unless it was Lingard, and I'm baffled by the Martial's had a bad first half when I thought he was one of the best, but it's all about opinion. What was your thoughts on that first half?
I think we should have had a goal, but, you know, we're breaking them down. I think if the game finishes 0-0, we'll look back differently on the first half. But for now, you know, hopefully it extends to the second half. I think we're going to take them down by the 60th minute, I'm hoping.
I'm not convinced Pogba's fully fit, by the way. He doesn't look fully fit.
No, and I'm nervous that he's going to get seriously injured in this game, actually. I think that something happened when he went down the tunnel, and they just didn't think it's serious, but I'm hoping, like, you know, I think he was hesitant since the beginning. So I'm thinking hopefully it's not with the hamstring again, because, you know, he's had terrible hamstring issues. But, you know, he's still there. Mourinho would have pulled him out.
No, yeah, well, yeah. We've already had that losing for over 2 months, so you'd hope that we wouldn't do that again. But no substitutions. I would just about agree with that. We've had a contribution from Gungshi. We aren't playing badly. When this team really starts to click, especially with Alexi, it will be awesome. Well, I would sort of agree with that as well, because I think if we can get the ball from back to front quick, i.e. sort our midfield out, we're not far off in relation to the attack.
Not at all. I think we have a good attack. I think, look, Martial, you know what? I keep hearing from people. Us Americans need better accents. Martial, I think that overall is the most exciting player to watch today. And I think, you know, in 9 out of 10 games, he would have had a goal already. So it's unfortunate that the game after he's moving positions, he hasn't put it away. But again, I don't think Jose is benching him anytime soon, honestly. He's the only person who looks like he's creating anything.
Here we go. Good little bit of play there from United. David Garron says eventually... Oh, I think Martial should hit that with his left, to be fair. He's only going to get more pelters and haters for that.
Yep.
Good cutback. Somebody just said in the live comments we can play Zlatan and Lukaku up front. We'll be losing a lot of games if we play those two up front. You can't play two players like that up front. Midfield would get swamped.
We may not see Zlatan play again. I understand we see him in training, but, you know, remember, the MLS can buy up until March. So I don't know that he will be here, in my opinion. But they're putting on a good show about it.
I'd like to see him back. I'd like to see him back, go out, not with a whimper, with a roar, but it's just whether that knee holds up or not.
Yeah, I don't want... Look, he was awesome while he was here. ton of fun to watch. I just wish him the best. If he stays here, great. Let him play as much as he can. And if he doesn't, he'll do great in whatever U.S. soccer considers itself.
That's the ball. Ashling's got it.
I mean, the passing is perfect. They just need to figure a way to put it away and finish.
I do think Lingard for Mata would be the substitution I would make. I always worry that it won't be.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking this would have been a perfect game for one of the youth to play, to get in, get creative. We have such creative people who are not going to touch the field, and this is an interesting game for them. I think we're going to figure a way to break this team down. Again, they have not been great at home, so one lapse, it's over.
I don't think they've scored at home or won at home in a long, long time.
Oh, it's offsides. It's offsides. It's all right. Just get the clock going, Mark.
Yeah, it's up and running now.
There we go. 30.
Thanks for the reminder in the live comments. Timer is up and running. Martial has switched to the left, Mateen. I noticed that as well. See how long it lasts, but it's good that we can do that.
Again, I'm also curious to see if we
back on the right now.
don't have a goal by like the 50th minute. I mean, the 70th minute. Does he pull Lukaku again and bring in someone else? You wonder, and put Alexis up front.
There's an interesting stat there that Manchester United and Man City top the league from teams that have won from drawing at half time. We are drawing at half time a lot anyway. We've always been quite like that. Here's Lingard with a bit of an no, keeper's there. Lukaku's moaning at Lingard. To be fair, his first touch was a brick wall.
It always is. It's every time too.
Ray Godfrey says there's going to be a couple of goals in the last 20 minutes. I can see why you'd say that, Ray. I think Newcastle should tire because they put a lot into it, even though we've dominated. So Lingard's dreadful, says Blend Richicha. We played better in the second half, says Snaps. Get Lingard off, says Adam Forrester.
Yeah. Again, Lingard does well in these games, so he'll be the first one to come off, I believe. But I also think he could be the one to score today.
Lingard's strength is turning.
And he'll get space from Newcastle. Perfect example. You wonder if the referee is actually watching the right game.
He has been poor.
I mean, it's not his fault we're not winning. To be honest, Newcastle probably has to be more agitated than we are, but it's like a blind person refereeing the game.
I mean, it's interesting about Lingard. He's getting a lot of stick in the live comments, and what I would say is that if this game gets a bit stretched, it could play into the Lingard strength of being allowed to turn and run at that back four and he scores a goal. What I would say about that is, it wouldn't take away from the fact that he's had a poor game. Obviously, it'd be great if he wins it as, but he's not had a good game. And it's interesting how Mourinho seems to pick him every single game, and he's become a Mourinho favourite. And that's the only thing that worries me about Mourinho. It's these obsessions he has, like Fellaini was the same. Like, a lot of people like McTominay. I haven't seen him yet what his big thing is. And that worries me a bit about Mourinho, is that he keeps sticking with these players that fans can, well, not all fans, admittedly, just are a bit concerned about. And is he just keeping him on there because he's hopeful that at some point in the game Lingard will get the opportunity to turn and run at the opposition? But he's also had countless opportunities in this game to play decent passes in the final third and not done it.
You know, Mourinho, in my opinion, sees these unique attributes in certain players that maybe we don't see. Lingard, Fellaini are very different stories. I think Lingard's played so far above his level. I'm starting to believe he may be better than I thought he was. Whereas Fellaini is just Fellaini. And I think that's the difference, is maybe Mourinho finds talent where we don't see it, but he's not right on all of them. And he's going to be wrong when he's trying to find, diamond in the dirt. But McTominay is how old? 19? Right?
Yeah. Go!
So, come on.
No, he's not doing it.
Oh.
I think it was a header down from Smalling onto Lukaku, and Lukaku heads it home, but I think they might have given it for a foul by Smalling on the defender, and maybe Lukaku as well. There seems to be a couple of pushes, but
you know what? Baby foul.
Yeah, he shouldn't do it.
Well, if it's Man City, they're not getting that called. Don't you worry about it. So, I don't know. I think that we'll figure a couple of them to be on the team next year. They won't all be. I still do. I'm starting to think that Fellaini is not. Again, I'm starting to be hopeful he doesn't sign the contract. Him and his 1.5 legs can go somewhere else.
Here we go, Lingard. It's dropped for it. No, it's not. Sanchez. Cross. Oh, good defending. We're knocking on the door. Disease Gaming is is Mourinho killing Rashford's development. Rashford's injured, so.
And that's an easy answer. No.
Oh, Rashford. Sanchez! Oh, it would have been a great goal. It was Salah-esque in the box. Skipped through 2 tackles, gets the shot away. I think it's a corner, but
he's saying he was kicked on the back heel. But I didn't see the replay.
Corner. Young. Smalling wins it. Handball! Even I could see that was a handball. Now Newcastle break. Good tackle by Lingard. Stretching now the game.
Some play by
Smalling. And he looks like he might have picked. Oh, God. Ref's poor. The ref's been really poor.
It's always weird how refs come back in second half and you can tell they're against one team, and now it's us. He's like, I made a mistake on that penalty that Smalling had. Now I'm going to have to retroactively, in my head, make it better. So let's go after United for the first 15 minutes.
I think Sanchez's shot might have hit the player on the arm as well. I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to just watch that Sanchez thing in the box there, and
just frustrating. I hate blaming referees. We should be better than they are.
Oh no, I mean we're not 0-0 because of the ref, but the flow of the game has been disrupted by him
multiple times. It becomes a real problem when they do that. Can't have any flow, and this plays right into the way Newcastle wants us to play.
JDM, clarity on why I said Sanchez's run was Salah-esque. I was thinking about the goal against Spurs last week where he was in the box in a tight situation and skipped through a couple of tackles and scored. I'm not saying Salah is better than Alexis Sanchez, not at all. I was actually referencing that specific goal.
Lukaku, you passed the ball.
It's a goal. What? Why did he hesitate? I think you've got to say... Oh, no, it was offside anyway. Something's gone off.
I thought he should have passed it to Martial anyway beforehand. He would have been perfect.
Well, let's watch this back here. Valencia does well, wins it. Lukaku gets it. Slips Sanchez in, who is on. And I think the ref... I don't know what the ref plays for. I mean, there's nothing done incorrectly by United. It's onside. Sanchez past the keeper. The Newcastle player wipes his own player out. And for some reason, Sanchez stutters instead of putting it in the back of the net.
That's very frustrating.
He stutters and he's just about to hit it there. And then he waits. And then he takes it. And I think if he didn't wait, he scores.
Agree. Let's hope it's not that type of day.
But they then blow up because of an injury to the keeper, which is not caused by United. So,
safe bet the keeper's still going to be on the pitch.
that would have been given as a goal as well.
Yeah.
I think, it's interesting what the Martial haters say now, because I love Sanchez, but he's got to score there.
Mm-hmm. Not going to get that many chances in the Champions League that you will get against Newcastle. Perfect. Lukaku did have a nice pass there, though. The second one.
Yeah.
But he hit Sanchez the right way. No, Lukaku is not man of the match, whoever said that.
Well, I'm not glad Sanchez missed that, because obviously we need to score it. But in a way, I'm glad, because it just kills off all that nonsense in the first half that Martial automatically has a bad half because he misses a good chance. Well, Sanchez has just missed a good chance, but he's playing really well. So we should be 2-0 up, haha banter. Unfortunately, the good chances have fallen to our best players, but it doesn't mean they've had a bad game.
It's an interesting comment. Mark, based on money we spent, I would expect more consistency and quality. It seems like we are lacking both, and Jose's stubbornness of picking Lingard or Fellaini over Mata is baffling. Pretty interesting.
Friedman 220 has made a contribution. He says Pogba is believing his own hype. As a Manchester United fan, he should concentrate less on social media and concentrate on players like De Bruyne, who is miles ahead, unfortunately. What do you think about that?
I think social media is a massive problem in our team, over most teams, honestly. I almost am shocked that Mourinho hasn't been banning it to some degree. I think it's a huge distraction. And after we lose some of these games this year, they've been on social media, which is even more frustrating. They'll be dancing like idiots. I don't see Kevin De Bruyne on Instagram. I mean, I don't follow him, but to be honest, I don't really see many people on that team except for that idiot Mendy on social media.
Yeah.
So, credit to them for that. We do have a distracted team, though, at points, and I think it hurts us.
I think Lukaku has played well. There's a lot of discussion going on in the live comments. He could have had a couple of assists today, to be fair. But he does look like he's playing in a pair of Timberlands. I agree. He has got a very heavy touch, and he does need to work on that. But we bought him like that, and
oh God! Did you just see the guy broke his advertising thing? And yeah, nice foul. We need to get a goal now, though. In the next 10 minutes, we need to put one away.
Still half an hour left in this game. To be honest with you, I've got to be honest, I thought Martial had a good first half. He's not really in the second half, and Lingard is in the second half. He is getting quite a lot of the ball, so I think the obvious substitution is going to be Martial for Mata. I'd definitely sort of see that coming.
Yeah. Again, it's a fine substitution if he starts the next game as well. I don't want to see him off anymore. He shouldn't be benched. Figure other people to bench. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, come on. Well, he's definitely going to take him off now. He's got the body language going on. And we can't really afford to draw or lose these games.
Look, we're not going to win the league. We're not going to win the league. We all know that. But what I want United to do is pick up as many points as they can to solidify second place. But also, by the start of April, hopefully we'll pretty much know we've guaranteed top 4 football. We can focus on the Champions League and the FA Cup. And in the league, in some of the home games, we can maybe get people like Gomez, Chong involved, knowing that we've sorted the league out.
I think the second we have top 4 locked up, those youth players will play weekly. I really have this feeling because you can tell, again, Gomez was wanted by every team on earth, and he could have gone anywhere. Anywhere. The fact that he stayed here, he was guaranteed first-team gameplay this year. So you have to assume that's how he's going to do it. But if they can't get top 4 wrapped up, I think a lot of that stuff will not happen. So I don't think the title's the concern anymore, fortunately. But a couple bad losses, and we're going to be right in that 50-point weird gap that no one wants to be in. Mata's coming on.
Yeah, well, we knew that. We saw that coming.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one if Martial goes off, or which we predict he will do. You've got a question mark. You've really got a question mark the signing of Alexis Sanchez, because not necessarily the signing, because who would say no to Alexis Sanchez, but Martial has won 3 Player of the Month awards out of 5 from the left. He's been arguably our best player of the season. We go and sign a player to play in that position. You've got to really query the thought of process of that. I've never known, I can't think, Smalling's just been booked for diving, quite rightly. I've never known a manager go and buy a player to improve a position where your best player already plays. It doesn't make sense. You know, we know we need a better right-hand sided player. We know we need a number 10. We know we need another midfielder. And we go and buy a very expensive 500 grand a week, by all accounts, player to play in a position. Here we go, 1-0. Oh dear. Well, I said at half time I couldn't see that coming. Jared.
I'm gutted. I just can't believe they scored.
I'd have to see it back again. Mata and Carrick coming on. He's still going to do it. I think we're about to go from bad to worse here, because I think he's going to make the substitution none of us want to see happen. This is a long lofted ball by Shelvey. Nobody contests the header.
What do you even say to that? Like, what a joke. And this is the
Matic
stuff that gets...
and Pogba are totally at fault here. Neither of them jumped for the first header.
Just trying not to curse.
You can't defend that. You can't moan at Jones and Smalling if the midfielders can't be bothered to defend.
No. And the thing is this sends De Gea through the roof. He's kept a clean sheet against a team like Newcastle. He should get the clean sheet. Why are we allowing a team like this to be in position to score like that?
Pogba and Lingard off, probably fair play to Mourinho. I think you know we're very critical, but Lingard had to come off, and Pogba probably not fit.
No, and you know what? Again, starting to see how much maybe he values Martial, because this is not something he used to do. He would be the first one off every game that he started in the beginning of the season.
You know, nobody wants to hate Manchester United. Everyone's very frustrated that we're 1-0 down. But if Pogba's not jumped for that because he's injured, he shouldn't have been on the pitch. I don't know why Matic doesn't jump. They seem to sort of confuse each other on what their responsibility is. Lingard's been I nearly swore myself. Poor. And the substitutions, right? I thought Martial would come off. And I think that Pogba looks depressed on the side.
Pogba does look I mean, that's not a good image. That's gonna be on social media and later.
Oh, apparently it's now Chris Smalling's fault for giving a free kick away on the halfway line. Come on. I know people don't like Smalling, but don't be so stupid. If somebody lofts a 40-yard ball into your box and the first contact is none of our players jump for it. That is not Smalling's fault for giving the free kick away. That ball's carried 40 yards in the air and nobody from our team jumps for it, and there's 2 players near it. That's why we've conceded. Here's Ashley Young. Please find a pass. Oh, went for goal. Corner. 23 minutes to get a point.
No, 23 minutes to score 2 goals.
Well, yeah.
Right? We have to. It's just not enough anyway. Even if we're content with a draw, it's not enough.
Well, you know what? We've got 20 minutes, I think, for these players to prove what many of us would like to see anyway, which is Sanchez and Martial with Mata in behind Lukaku. I think the Lingard experiment's got to stop. If you're going to play Lingard, play him on the right wing. But the number 10, what's our last few fixtures been, Jared? Huddersfield, Newcastle, Spurs. Okay, Spurs are good. And what was the game before that in the league? Was it Burnley? No, he scored against Burnley, didn't he? No, Martial scored against Burnley. So Lingard's played at number 10 against Burnley, Huddersfield, and Newcastle, and been average stroke poor. It's if he could, and Spurs he went missing. So that experiment's got to stop.
Well, again, this better be a this year experiment, not a next year experiment as well. These are issues that are long-term, need fixing. I understand if if he's trying to plug it away as best he can this year, but next year we need world-class people in these positions who start every week, who are not makeshifting a lineup.
So we've put Alexis Sanchez as a number 10, and we've got Mata on the right. I don't get it.
To be honest,
and now Martial's on the left.
Yeah, to be honest, I think he views Sanchez as a 10. I really do. I know Sanchez wears the 7, but I think long-term, he's viewed at that position.
With great reluctance, I do have to update the score as people are telling me. I'm actually just going to go and take a quick toilet break as well. It's been a stressful one, this one, and hopefully United can find something in it, because I think it's going to be a very interesting call-in on the Skype show if we lose it. But I'll be back in a moment, Gary. I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, rough game so far. I mean, I gotta be honest. I'm shocked that we're in this position. I didn't think that it would be 0-0, 1-0. I thought we would have converted our chances. But again, it's not going to get any easier. This relegation battle is going to start screwing with the top 4. I mean, the teams, I think it was, someone said it to a statistic, it's 11 to 20th or within 3 points. It's unbelievably interesting. Yeah, I agree. Why do people feel bad for Pogba? He has to learn a lesson. I don't think it's learning a lesson as much as sitting that, is he injured, or are you just pulling him off to teach him a lesson? Because you can't afford to lose these games, so your best people need to be on. So if they're not on, what's happening? A lot of people saying Mourinho out. The chair is really the superstar of this channel, as we all know. The hell. Again, is it Jose out because he takes Pogba off, or in the 90th minute we've won this game, Jose a genius? Newcastle like a stubborn, weird, annoying team. Pain in the ass team.
The thing is, we can't complain too much. I mean, Martial had that great chance. Sanchez had that good chance.
Yeah, we don't convert our chances. We don't. But that's been a consistent problem for us this year.
I think the problem we have had is not being able to create chances. But to be honest, you wouldn't want them chances to fall to anybody better than Martial and Sanchez. It's just a bit of an off day from both, really.
Yep, but 19 minutes, so they better figure it out, right? That's my bigger thing. That's why they're on That's why they're still on, and they weren't pulled off. It's because those 3 people should be able to create something. I mean, the focal point of it all is Lukaku, and I don't know that he's been excellent converting chances as much as setting them up today. I think setup play has been quite good.
I mean, I see the amount of videos there are for like DT on Arsenal when he gets it wrong, and I know for a fact I said it numerous times at half time, we're not going to lose this game, never in a million years. And At the moment we are. I still think we'll get back into it. And if we did lose it, there'd be...
serious questions.
Yeah.
And there should be serious questions if we lose this game. But that's the thing. Why would any fan expect for us to lose against this team? This is a subpar group of junior varsity players.
I'll tell you what I like from Carrick straight away, though. It's funny because Alex was talking about Carrick before the game. What I like from Carrick, which we don't see from United, is straight away he's looking at 30 or 40-yard passes forward accurately along the ground, which we just haven't seen all season.
Yeah. I mean, and he's composed. He keeps other people composed. We need a replacement for him, and I don't know who that's going to be. I really don't. It's really unfortunate. I think we go back, and there's certain people that should be on this team right now that would have changed a lot of issues. I think Fabinho should have been signed. People like that we shouldn't have waited on. Now you'll see the problems with it, because I think he's going to continue to makeshift the midfield differently each game, which hurts us a lot.
Matthew McFadden says, ooh, a 1-0 down, time to bring on a 36-year-old holding midfielder with a heart problem. I don't normally disagree with you, Matthew, but I think you're wrong on that. I think what Carrick's brought straight away is a midfielder who can actually pass the ball forward. And, we paid 90 million for a French guy to do that. And Matic used to be able to do it as well, and neither do it enough in the United shirt. We've got, Matt Austin, I did do that video, didn't I, in the week about United, and I'll argue it with anybody. We haven't got an identity. I don't know what our identity is. It changes so much. Somebody said at the start of the game, can you actually say that Luke Shaw and Rojo have been dropped? And, of course they've been dropped. In my mind, they've been dropped. But what they were saying is, how do you say somebody's been dropped when we don't really know what our identity is, and from week to week we never know what the starting 11 is? Now we've got Mata, Martial, Sanchez at 10, Lukaku at front. We started with Martial on the right, Lingard at 10, Sanchez on the left. We don't have an identity, and we don't really have a starting 11, and you're not going to win titles until you establish that. And that is the only thing, one of the few things I would say about Mourinho, that he's done very well to make us progress, and we do progress. But McTominay's coming on now. I worry about the 3 points bringing a lad like this on, but we'll see.
What's funny? What's funny? I really thought we were going to bring him on. Yeah, it makes sense. He's a Mourinho right now guy. And whatever. I don't have a better plan, so go for it. I hope it works.
But for who? You can't take a player like Martial or Sanchez off for McTominay.
Long ball.
Got to be Matic.
I don't know.
To be fair, big Martial fan, not in this second half.
No. But ball at his feet, he can still do more than most people can do. It just needs one moment. Also, stop. It's not 1-1, everyone, so stop. Just stop.
Do you think Ashley Young's done enough to justify Luke Shaw being dropped?
No more. My problem is it's no longer about justifying them being dropped. We are preventing the growth of people we need to know if they should be in the team long term.
What a ball by Martial. It's not where it needs to be, but unlucky. Good little bit of play on the break there. Mourinho would be a fool to take Martial, Sanchez or Lukaku off, because that's the ball from Carrick. Long ball. Martial does really well. He's got 3 players around him, holds it up, and then plays a good ball through to Lukaku. And the cross comes in, but we've got no one attacking it.
And I'm telling you, we need a goal quickly.
It's McTominay for Matic. He's had a poor game as well.
Good.
Well, let's see what McTominay can do. At some point he's going to have to show us what Mourinho sees in him.
Maybe he'll score here. Who knows?
Goal! Martial again. He'll get pelters for that, but I don't really know what he can do. It's off the line, and then...
Unbelievable. Sometimes we're just not lucky. Perfect corner, perfect play. 3 shots in a row.
Oh God, there's so many players there. It's people who say he should score, but there's so many players there. Daniel Gion, how do you miss those chances? We've got 4 players on the line, mate.
No, I mean, it looks easier than it was, to be fair. But both shots, it's not like it was a Sterling shot where it missed the entire orbit of the planet. It was simple. Got blocked. What can you do? Ugh. It's just, it's well-deserved criticism if they lose this game or draw this game. It's not criticism we need going into the Champions League. I agree. He should have hit the top corner. Look, it could have been a better shot, but again.
Well, we're all bloody Pele in hindsight, aren't we?
Right. Exactly.
I think looking at it back, yeah, of course, yeah. You think he's going to score, but looking at it back, I've seen it twice, and I just think he's done. It's not like he's tried to miss, is it? He's hit them. There's players in the way.
Composed, it was blocked. Both shots were on target. All right, free kick.
Left.
Benitez is going to slow this game down big time. I want Newcastle to get relegated. I hate him.
I don't like Benitez at all.
Yeah, he also annoys me. Mike Ash, the whole team annoys me. Yeah, I mean, in the end, I do think that's another issue. I think we need a substitute to Lukaku. And I think it's Rashford, but I don't even know if Jose actually sees him there. I know he said that, but I just don't see him as the long-term solution. But I hope I'm wrong. We don't have another option, so I'm all about him. Corner.
Where does the blame lie at the moment, folks? That's what I want to know as I start thinking towards the call-in show, and hopefully we can get something out of this game. But even a point's not really good enough, is it? Where does the blame lie for today? Can you really blame Mourinho? Is it just one of those days where players that we like have let us down, or have players that should be doing better let us down? It's a difficult one. And of course, something we've not discussed, this will leave the door wide open to those teams behind us.
Yeah. It's a huge. This is a huge problem. Huge, unaffordable loss if it happens. To Newcastle, a championship team who can't even afford to buy a striker, and we're losing to them.
Sorry for all the clicks, everyone. I am just setting up the call in because I'm sure a lot of you are going to want to call in. Still time. Still time.
Oh. Now they just look off kilter.
See what people are saying in the live comments. Is there blame, or does Newcastle get some applause here? Says Christopher Morton. Probably not from Jared. I know. I don't. I mean, if Newcastle, I've seen United lose games like this before, but I think Newcastle, even Newcastle fans, you can't say it's been a scintillating performance. It's been a hard work performance and a hang in there performance. But Daniel 81, Lukaku offers nothing up front. Some people think he's had a good game. We haven't done enough to draw this game, says Marshall. Bad finishing, says Cian Williams. And I hope Mourinho does not use the game as a reason to withdraw from Martial, Lukaku, Sanchez experiment. And he's ruining our players' confidence, as Keela Melita. all Jose's fault, says Marco.
It's not all Jose's fault.
Lewis Lee says, I don't even look bothered. Oh, sorry, Lewis. What, do you want me to start crying? I've seen it time and time again with United. How many times have I said we're a 2-step forward, 1-step back team, and this is just another 1-step back performance? I'm not going to start saying Mourinho out. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised in the context of the game. I don't know how we've managed to lose this, but if somebody had said to me yesterday United will lose, I wouldn't have said nah, never going to happen, because I've seen it happen too often. I think United are capable of anything. We could have come here and won 6-0. We could come here and lose 1-0. We haven't got that consistency yet. The biggest thing for me, and maybe I don't look bothered, Lewis, because I did the video on Wednesday exactly about this, and those people who saw it will know what I said. This season already, we've played 4 or 5 formations, and I still don't know what our identity is. I don't know what it's going to be for the rest of the season. I don't know what it's going to be in the summer. I don't know what our identity is. So how can players play with confidence and freedom when they don't know what their sort of identity is? The one thing I would always say positively about Manchester City and Pep Guardiola is he's got a system, he's got an idea. And yes, he's got a lot of money to implement that, but he's still got an ideology. I don't know what ours is. And that's the problem. And if I don't know what it is, how do the players, well, I and you collectively as the fans, if we don't know what's happening in front of us, how the hell are the players supposed to know?
I don't know, honestly.
It's a different team every week. It's just confusing.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is now you get to the point where if we do lose this game, you're really in territory where there's problems for top 4.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Chelsea. Chelsea's the next league game.
Well, Chelsea and I'm sure Liverpool will crush Southampton today, and then again, Chelsea. Well, I'm not as concerned about them, but Spurs look unbelievable. It's not great. Not great playing Newcastle, who again have not looked poor by any means. It's this result is more of our fault than it is their play that has resulted in this. However, the difference is the one chance that they had, they converted.
Wow, 5 minutes. And as I noticed this a lot with Manchester United as well, that substitutions under Mourinho don't necessarily work out well. They can actually slow us down a little bit. And
kind of seems what happened here.
Here's Martial. Nice little ball into Sanchez. Oh, Mata gets in the way. I don't think Mata's set the world on fire, to be honest.
No. Yeah, they're frustrated. You can tell the body language. They're annoyed. I mean, that's the other problem. This defense is a joke. Phil Jones is embarrassing. And the fact that we have to figure out who we're going to start every week is another. It's pathetic. Until Bailly comes back, we don't actually have a defense. We're makeshifting players into a defense.
Well, I think I said it 20 minutes ago. You said, Jared, we've got 20. I said 20 minutes to get a draw. You said 20 minutes to get a win. Totally understand why you'd say that, but it looks like that's a draw or nothing.
Yeah. I would say in some games you almost forget the draw. They don't deserve to win this game at all.
I think we can safely say that Scott McTominay's done sod all.
Yeah, I agree. But again, if I'm going to blame anyone, it's going to be the people in front of him. Oh, and now this guy, Valencia's about to get a red card because he just kicked him in the face. I'm telling you, literally looked like he kicked him right in the face. We may lose this game, but that was enjoyable to watch. No card. No nothing.
Well, I don't know what people at home think. That I don't agree with Valencia as captain anyway. I mean, really struggles with the language, and I just think we lack leadership on the pitch when things go wrong. There's no. I think to say, "Oh, we miss a Roy Keane character" is really wrong to say it, because it's Roy Keane was superb, and that's not going to happen. But it would be nice to actually have somebody who actually understands what Manchester United's all about, and give these players a bit of a kick up the backside. We are rudderless on the pitch, is what I'm trying to say.
I think the concern in the end, Jose's not the manager you're going to be happy with 100% of the time. So if in the end he gets you to a title, it's worth how you got there. But when you don't get to a title, then you start really picking on things that are problems. And there are problems with the way he manages. There's no question. Even if you're a Jose in fan, and it's not even Jose out versus in, if you're a fan of Mourinho, you can tell and you know that he has flaws. He's extremely stubborn. And you see these things when he makes substitutions, when he picks the same people who aren't good enough. But it's a long-term project with us. But this is not an acceptable...
What would you have done different, Jared? Because obviously we'll have the quick change over to go and do the call-in. But we've got a couple of minutes left, and hopefully we can still get something out of this, but it's not looking great. What would you... What went wrong in this game today? Because, yeah, we missed a couple of chances. Yes, Newcastle's goal was a bit fortuitous, but we've still had 20 minutes to get back, and we haven't. And I think that's... If people want to blame Martial and Sanchez for the missed chances, fine, that's a factor, but we've still had 20 minutes to get back into this game, and we've created nothing. Sir Alex Ferguson, I can tell you what, I don't like saying this because Sir Alex Ferguson's been retired for a long time, but we're still playing with a back four. He would be going with a back three by now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be more support up front. I don't think Lukaku is good enough in certain games to convert by himself. And I think that we don't have enough support for him. He doesn't get the right service, but in the end today, again, I just thought the players looked flat. I think they created chances in the first half, and they didn't convert them. But I don't feel like I just don't think we have the right talent level. I mean, granted, it's Newcastle. We shouldn't be losing to them anyway. But I don't know what it is. There's something wrong within this squad. And it comes up and rears its head every month in a different game.
Yeah, but 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think Mourinho's trying to root it out, but I really do not know what it is. I don't. But you know what? It's funny. For all the people who say, like, people are negative when they say we're not going to win the title or all stuff, this is the inherent issue with this team, is that title-winning teams don't have these problems. Champions League winning sides do not have a 1-0 result against Newcastle and look like they deserve the 1-0 result. They have 35 shots and the Newcastle goalie has a worldly. That's different. But
yeah, they made one good. I mean, that head-on by McTominay is embarrassing there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just on the pitch because he's tall, let's be honest. And he might be tall, but he's a string bean. These Newcastle defenders are big. They're big blokes. They're not going to...
You could go with that one long-term, Mark. He is a string bean.
Right, we've got a corner here now.
Again, and you know what the problem is? Even if we drew, I'm not happy. It's bad. It's a bad result. We need the draw just to get a point out of this, but... Oh, Tomney's getting bodied by a midget. Sorry, small person. We did not have a game plan, no. And it's definitely not going to get easier for any of you who know Newcastle fans. They're the soccer version of the Eagles. Come on.
Well, still pushing hard.
Yeah, McTominay's flopping all over the place.
We've got the call in, everybody, straight after this. I'm sure a lot of you are going to have a lot of things you want to say. Skype Goldbridge is the word. It's not going to be on this stream. It's going to be set up off another stream with the link in the video description, or you can go through the homepage. At the moment, it's entitled Mourinho's Mistakes, but there's still 2 minutes for us to get back into this. We're now finally putting men into the box, so you never know. There might be another corner here for United. There will be. We might get something late on.
Yeah, we could use it. Come on. Nope. Huh. Unfortunate. Curious to hear what Mourinho has to say after this game. I think the obvious response is we lost because we didn't have Fellaini. $16 points.
Well, thanks for coming on, Jared, anyway.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Mark. I wish there was a better result.
It's not over yet, but we're not far off. We will be more or less live straight away. I've got the link in the video description for everybody who wants to get involved. And yes, well, we've got 30 seconds left, so I don't see us turning it around.
I agree, unfortunately. And Benitez is making a sub.
But they should be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed. And I'll have my say, obviously, on the match reaction. But it's for you lot to call in as well. So link in the top line of the video description. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of very unhappy Manchester United fans. And I'm very interested to see why and where people put the blame. Because it's got to be... Oh, McTominay. Oh, God, we nearly got one late on there. And it's going to be not enough. Not enough.
God damn it. All right. Thanks for having me on, Mark.
Thanks, Jared. I'll speak to you soon.
See you.
Good tackle on McTominay. Cross came in. Carrick put it towards. Keeper did make a good save. And that's not enough. And that's it. It's over. Right. Link in the video description. Get over there to the match reaction. Link in the video description, top line, or go through the homepage. It's called Mourinho's Mistakes, the match reaction show. I will be there with you in around about 30 seconds time. I'm literally going to close this one down and open the next one up. So I'll see you in 30 seconds. You can call in, Skype Goldbridge, all one word. The aftermath begins, and it's really about what you lot think. I'll see you in a moment.